The thing about comparing rates at Progressive.com is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about comparing rates at Progressive.com. We probably don't even need the words comparing rates anymore to remind you that seasoning steaks at Progressive.com is an easy way to save on car insurance, or that swimming in trousers helps you find the lowest rate. And that's the thing about foraging for truffles. You've heard a lot of ads about standing tiptoe on a cinder block. Compare rates and sing softly to a wounded field mouse and save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Masspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Masspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for downloading Sporgy for free on iTunes or from ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate Sporgy 5 stars on iTunes and help to tell others about Sporgy by leaving a comment. Thank you for following Sporgy on Twitter at Sporgy Podcast and on Instagram at Sporgy_podcast. Please follow Sporgy on Facebook to like and share Sporgy. You can also email the show. The address is sporgy at ChristopherMedia.net. If you would like to donate to Sporgy, you can click on the PayPal button at ChristopherMedia.net. If you use Amazon.com, please click and bookmark the Amazon link at ChristopherMedia.net. It will not cost you any extra money, and you will help to support Sporgy. If you are looking to launch your own website, please click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media uses HostGator to host all of the shows produced by the Christopher Media Network. When you click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net and sign up for HostGator, you're helping to support Sporgy. We know that choosing the perfect gift for a man is a difficult task, but not anymore. TheBroBasket.com is here to help. We all know men are hard to shop for, but what do guys actually like? Their favorite alcohol, that's what. It could be craft beer, wine, whiskey, scotch, or tequila. TheBroBasket.com will put it in a gift basket full of their favorite gear and goodies. You can customize your own Bro Basket or choose from a variety of different Bro Baskets, like the Ultimate Import Sampler, the Jack and Coke gift set, or the Junior Executive gift basket. Boozeless, but still cool, Bro Baskets are also available. TheBroBasket.com gives you many shipping options to choose from, including rush delivery and Saturdays. 21 and over, please. State and local laws apply. Beer, wine, and liquor are not available for shipping in all states. You can help to support Christopher Media by clicking through the BroBasket.com banner at ChristopherMedia.net. Men used to be hard to shop for. TheBroBasket.com.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. Welcome to Sporgy, the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Rich.
Welcome to Sporgy, number 25. Oh, it's the steroid show. I learned before we started recording. I never realized this. Both Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, number 25. You can put on your tinfoil hat there, Iceman. Start forming conspiracies around that. I'm Chris.
I'm Rich.
I'm the Iceman.
Hey, and it wasn't steroids, it was creatine. Get it right.
Sure. Whatever.
Is creatine hard work? Mom, apple pie, God, say your prayers, get 8 hours of sleep. That's all it was. There was no steroids.
Yeah. Look at the aforementioned arms of the men we were just talking about. Tell me what it was.
Look at their heads.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that. It's like the Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns recruits all the pro baseball players for his softball team. Was it Ken Griffey?
Yeah, no. He had the gigantism.
Yeah. He looked, exactly. Looked like a fucking comic book villain. His head just fucking swelled up.
But look at their numbers, too. They were at the end of their careers. Weren't they putting up numbers better than, like, their rookie years?
Well,
okay. Beginning of their career?
McGwire hit 49 home runs his first full rookie season. And if you look at McGwire's rookie card, he looks completely different.
Yeah, he was a little small white dude. I remember when he all of a sudden was in the chase, my first reaction was, that guy's still playing? And my second reaction was, when I looked at him, like, that's the same dude?
Well, he was one of my favorite players growing up, especially when I got moved over to first base, because I was like, okay, he's not super athletic, and he could hit the ball a mile. So I was right at that. That was like, I think, my second year of Little League when I got moved over to first base from catcher. So, when you're a kid, you try to emulate a player and his style and all that good shit. So that was my first base archetype, I guess. But, I never stuck a needle in my ass. Maybe if I did, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys.
I know, right? No, it's not worth it. No fucking way is it worth it.
Well, anyways.
It's the beginning of, we're recording this on December 1st, recording a little late this week, but Iceman's got a new gig, and we're trying to make sure we get all three of us on every show, so.
And I want to get, I got a rant, and I want to get it out of the fucking way.
All right, let's go.
It's about the game, okay, that happened between U of M and Ohio State. Okay. First of all, I cut the cord on my cable, and I went through PlayStation View to get my television package. I pay a lot less, and I don't end up with a bunch of channels I don't want. And so far, up until last Saturday, I've been able to watch everything I wanted to watch. For whatever reason, I couldn't watch the game on PlayStation View. I did not see the game live. The game was not
all those
on.
Big Ten networks. There's no the game.
They put it on ABC. ABC is on demand only on PlayStation View.
Oh, that's the one bugaboo that I will give you, at least where we're at, is our local ABC. All of our local channels, or at least the networks, 2 of 3 are available if you want to watch them live. Now if you want to watch your Modern Family and all that other crap ABC has, you can watch it on the app. But if you want to watch something like the Ohio State-Michigan game, which is going to be aired locally on the ABC affiliate, not happening.
Yeah, now if I had to put a zip code for, let's say, I don't know, Florida, New York, Tennessee, wherever the fuck, it'd aired on it. They'd have played it on the ESPN channel on PlayStation View, like the rest of the country got it. But because my zip code is here in Michigan and it's so close to Ann Arbor, they moved it over there. So I went to, and also just, you cannot listen to it online, period. Any U of M game you cannot listen to online. Even if the station that broadcasts over the air the game has a website, you can listen to their stuff live, listen to their on-air broadcast. They will play something else. They'll play music. They will put some other programming on. They will not broadcast it over the internet. So I couldn't even listen on the radio unless I wanted to go sit in my car for almost 4 hours.
To be fair, though, isn't that how it goes with any streaming stations and games? I know when I used to listen to our local sports talk station, anytime a Tigers game or a Red Wings game or a Lions game came on, if you were online and listening, they were dumping out to CBS Sports Radio or whatever their network affiliate is.
I don't know, because I used to be able to listen to Red Wings games online through the local sports station. Now, granted, this was 5 years ago.
They got to make money somehow.
So whatever, the policy might have changed.
But isn't TV making you enough money?
So I went and did something that I don't recommend people do, but put a post up in a forum. Was like, look, I've tried every legal means besides sitting in my car for the next 4 hours to listen/watch this game. Does someone have a link to something? And someone kindly posted a link to a streaming site that supposedly was going to stream the game. I got to watch 30 seconds of it before the stream locked up, and that was it. So everything I know about that game, everything I saw, has been highlights. So I can't even sit here and pick apart the game like I wanted to do when we finally started recording, because I wasn't allowed to watch it, because I'm not going to pay $150 for cable for 250 channels, 20 of which I watch.
Hey man, I'm with you. That's exactly why I cut the cord. That's what I told them when I was canceling. I am paying for too much TV. That sucks that you didn't watch. I didn't watch it either. I'm just not a Michigan fan. But it's the only thing I know about that game, or I know 2 things about that game. I know apparently there's a controversial first down play right at the end, but I also know Michigan gave away 14 points. So.
Well, Earl, I'm assuming you watched the entire game.
You both know I watched the fucking game.
Okay. Someone who lives in fucking Kansas could watch the game. People that live in Michigan couldn't. There we go. So that's the end of my rant.
But I also didn't cut the cord either.
Yeah, but even if you had went through PlayStation View in Kansas, they'd have showed it on ESPN. It's bullshit. Local broadcasting rights is what the problem is.
True, but I do got your workaround for you, Rich. It's almost a week later. Doesn't matter. But just a tip from when I first cut the cord back in 2011. $20, get you a digital antenna, and you can get your locals. Little tip for you for the future.
You know, if I'd have thought about it, there's a Best Buy about 3 miles down the road. I probably would have done it. But I was so irritated. And
because when I initially cut the cord, PlayStation View wasn't even, PlayStation View and Sling TV weren't even concepts that were thought of yet. It was Netflix and Hulu. And it was like, well, how am I going to watch the local? And it was rabbit ears and my PlayStation. And that's how I watched TV for a year. So,
no, I mean, I get that. But that game and that whole weekend was full of what the fuckins. I don't even know what happened.
Oh, I feel like I need to say this. I hope this what the fuckins is catching on with our listeners, because I feel like the chick from Mean Girls. I'm like, stop pushing what the fuckins. It's not going to happen. But go ahead.
Oh, it's going to catch on. Trust me, because people are all over the country watching these games the same as we are. Going, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? What the fuck? Turn the channel. What the fuck? Yep, weekend of what the fuckins right there.
Yeah, I got a couple for when we get to the NFL. But yeah, the Michigan game. Dude, what do you think about that controversial call at the end of the game? It seems to me, if you're an Ohio State fan, you say it's fine. If you're a Michigan fan, you're butthurt about it.
Look, it's just like I said about the Mexican game with the Texans and the Raiders. It doesn't come down to one call. However, just like that game, with this game, that officiating was horrid. Absolutely horrid. You could say, hey, we're the better team. Hey, we won. You can say all that, and I can't disagree. You're right. You pulled it out. Good for you. However, you had a lot of freaking help. It wasn't one first down call. It was a lot of blown calls, non-calls, calls that weren't calls. It was horrible.
Space helped you out a little bit, too.
Absolutely.
Giving away 2 touchdowns, that's help.
Throwing a pick six and shit, yeah. No doubt. No doubt. The game was everything it was built to be. It was the game. 2 overtimes, for fuck's sake. It was a badass game. However, it was that because of the officiating. It was like 40-60. 40% of what the players did, 60% of what the rest did and didn't do. It was horrible. It was like Ohio State's going to win this game no matter what. And you saw that by the second quarter.
Oh, we're getting into tinfoil hat territory here?
No, it's not even a tinfoil hat. It's like going to watch a movie in the theater, and 30 minutes into the movie, you know who the killer is. Why are you watching the rest of the movie? It's that type of shit. You saw it from Jump Street. And it just continued through the first and all the way through the half of the second quarter. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Fucking Helen Keller could see that that's a penalty. What are you doing? And then it just continued through the rest of the game.
Well, you posted a video on Facebook that I've seen that basically, pointed out in very smart-ass ways at some points, because they slowed everything down to a crawl to where even if you don't understand football, they spelled it out for you more than John Madden used to with his fucking telestrator on Monday Night Football. The blown calls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The fact that a third of that crew that ref that game are Ohio State fans,
live in the Ohio State area.
Yeah, have ties to the university one way or another, and then the
giving players high fives and slapping them on the ass.
Yes, after plays. Yeah. You're a ref. What the fuck are you doing? Don't be giving high fives and ass pats to fucking players. Are you kidding me? Because if that game was played in Ann Arbor and a third of the officiating crew had lived in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, Saline, cities in and around that area, around where the big house is, and were avowed U of M fans, and the game had, and U of M had won the game that way, Ohio State would have rioted. Like, they'd have loaded up in their pickup trucks, got the one person that goes to Ohio State without 3 DUIs and a felony to drive to cross state lines, and came up here and rioted. That's what the fuck they'd have done.
Protested and blocked 94 like a motherfucker.
Talking about red and silver lives matter and shit. But see,
Oh boy.
but the other stat that really blew my mind that I heard that came out of the clusterfuck after all this is Ohio State hasn't been called for holding in 3 years at home. How the fuck are you not called for holding for 3 years in your own fucking house?
It goes to test.
That is a home field advantage that goes beyond turning a blind eye or tie goes to the runner or whatever the fuck. That is just, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You say what you want about the game. Does it come down to the calls? Whatever. Better team won. I don't care. When Michigan lost to Iowa, okay, Jim Harbaugh came out and said, hey, that's part of the game. It is what happens. It happens. We're not going to win every game. It happens. We need to push forward. And he was very cool, calm, and collected. After this game, this man, even though he was going to get fines, came out and said how horrible that officiating crew was. So he's not being a crybaby, because he would have been a crybaby with Iowa. He was a stand-up coach, took the loss like a man, said there it is. He said everything that everybody saw. And good on him. Good on him. Pay the fine, but get your word heard there. Because it was terrible. The exact same way the Texans coach should have said it. He didn't, because he didn't want to pay the fine. But it was horrible. It makes it not even worth watching. If it's not going to be a fair game, why even fucking play the game? That's just like you telling me, Rich, if it's the tinfoil hat and this is all fixed, what are we talking about? What are we going to talk about the game for if it wasn't fair?
No, absolutely. But I do have to go back to something that Jimmy Johnson said when he was coach of the U, and the Canes were going up to South Bend to play Notre Dame, and he told them, if this game is close in any way, the officials will fuck us. So when we go up there, release the fucking hounds, bury them. And they didn't, and sure as shit, they got fucked on a call that cost them that game. And Jimmy Johnson said, that's our fault for letting the game be that close. So all I can say is this. Chris is absolutely right. Shouldn't have gave up fucking 14 points. You spotted them that. You shouldn't have been in that position anyways. You should have played better to take the refs out of the equation.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
Now, that doesn't excuse.
But when the refs put you in that position, there's not much you can do, boss. There's really not. There's two things that can cost you a game: the coach and the refs. If you go out there, you're giving your 100%, you throw an interception, you throw a pick six, shit happens. Let's recover and move forward. But when your coach doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and somehow blows the calls and doesn't make the right decisions at the right time, that you lose. If the refs are going to judge you unfairly throughout the whole fucking game, I don't care what you do, you lose. They make sure you lose.
No, I agree.
And they came out there to bury him. They did. And they've stopped him multiple times. And the refs gave him the benefit of the doubt, leading to that last first down that wasn't a first down. I watched it over and over and over again, and I was 100% impartial. I was like, let it be there. Okay, get there, and it just wasn't there. He didn't get there. Did not get there. And that's the way that game was throughout the entire fucking game. They weren't going to win.
Just let the ball judge on the ass for that one. Hey,
this isn't just a problem, though, with this game's officiating. This is a problem with college football officiating. There are so many college football games. There are so many college football officials. Remember when the refs in the NFL were on strike and they brought in the college football refs, and Green Bay basically got fucked over on Monday Night Football, and that's when they were like, okay, we have to settle this.
Yeah,
we can't let these...
That's the game that made Russell Wilson a star.
Like, we cannot let these off-brand, wannabe, it's like when you go to the liquor store and you don't want to spend $200 on some Oakleys, so you spend $20 on some Folkleys. Okay, we cannot let these refs ref our fucking brand and rep our brand. They knew that. The NFL knew that. That's how come they settled as quick as they did after that game. I mean, that was over quick, fast, and in a hurry. If that had been players, they'd have been willing to lose a fucking couple games of the season. They proved it before, season before? 2 seasons before that?
Well, it's not just that. Like I said, it was the same way with Oakland and the Texans in Mexico. It was horrid. I mean, there's just games, and I don't know if the same officiating crews or whoever the fuck, but there are games you watch, you're like, what in the actual fuck am I watching? Because it starts to look like in that game, the game started to look like the WWE. 1, 2, and then slowly pull your hand down and, he kicked out, and the match continues. Because that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I know. 1 and 2 go by at a normal pace, and 3 takes fucking 5 seconds for him to get to. I know.
You got to give the Hulkster time to throw his hand up.
I watched enough WWF when it was still WWF back in the day on Channel 50. I remember.
So good on Ohio State. Great. You're going to go and you're going to play off and a beautiful thing. However, the refs situation, college and pro, needs to be addressed. Otherwise, you're going to start losing fans because of it. If I can't watch a fair fucking game and watch players play to their potential and then all of a sudden the best team wins, then I don't want to fucking watch it. If you're going to dictate to me throughout the entire game who's going to win, why am I watching? I got other shit to do.
I think you're going to be in the minority on this one, Iceman. I think there's always going to be people who are going to watch football. It's like I heard somebody talk about, I think it was last year at some point, that they think the NFL is going to be gone in 20 years. Like, are you fucking retarded? Did you hit your head this morning? They make too much money. Just if you have a penis, I can't buy that, Earl. I think people are always just going to watch.
No, that's not true. That's just like people are always.
Guess what? I'm not doing this for a fucking hour, so I'm gonna sell this right now. You're arguing about something neither of you have any proof of because it ain't 20 years from now. So you can say it's not true and you can say it's true. We don't fucking know. You want to get together in 20 years and have this conversation, we'll have this conversation. But I just don't want another hour of arguing about opinions about shit that we can't prove one way or the other.
I'm not going to argue whether it was 20 years or the next 2 years. All I'm telling you is people are getting tired of being dictated to.
Really? Have you stopped watching? Because I haven't stopped watching this season. There's been horrible officiating. I'm still watching every Sunday.
I'm just saying, Trump's president. People are getting tired of being dictated to.
All right. Let's move on.
It's Thursday. I got to throw that in there.
All right.
The day ends in Y. You got to bring up something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, of course. Yeah.
So, what's next on the docket, gentlemen? Rich, you're saying we got the list of sports cities?
Oh, the top 8 sports cities, yeah.
Top 8? What? We didn't have enough research for 10? Someone want to be different with their list?
Yeah, apparently. Now, I've never heard of this company, group, whatever, that did it, but they compared 400.
Of course, they rank things in 8s.
They compared 423 sports cities across 50 key metrics related to football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and soccer. All right. And
see, I didn't know that when we were having our little pre-show talk. Soccer's in there?
Yeah.
All right. That's going to change my answers I was giving before the show considerably.
Okay, so number 8 is Detroit. And
out of the whole world, we made number 8?
Out of the whole world, we made number 8.
I'll fucking take that.
And to me, it's interesting compared to the 7 cities that are ranked ahead of them, which are New York, of course.
Are we counting backwards to number 1?
From 1 to 8.
Oh, so New York's number 1?
New York's number 1. Boston, Pittsburgh. That one kind of threw me for a loop to come in at 3. L.A. I mean, not really shocking.
That one mystifies me, but continue.
But when they say basketball and football, and if they're including hockey and soccer, I've got to assume they're talking college also. So that has to factor in. Is my guess.
So you're thinking that's what USC, UCLA, the Clippers, and the Lakers holding that up?
Yeah, yeah. And then you have what? I mean, if you're gonna, okay, yes, it's Anaheim, but most of the time they get lumped in with LA as far as the Angels. And you have the Dodgers. You have the Kings, who've actually won, and been in the Cup Finals in recent years. So there's been a resurgence of hockey. And then, Major League Soccer. There are fans, even though I'm not one of them, for that league. And I mean, didn't Beckham sign with the LA team like 10 years ago? So he raised the awareness.
Galaxy, right?
I believe so, yeah. So he raised the awareness for it. Okay, so number 4 is Pittsburgh. Three is Pittsburgh. 4 is LA. 5 is Chicago. And then 6 and 7 are kind of shocking to me. Philly, and this is the one that really shocks me out of the top 7. Washington, D.C. That's what I'm saying.
With their 3 sports. No, they got 4. That's right. They got what? The Wizards, the Capitals, the Nationals, and the Redskins. Oh, yeah, that's right. We don't say the Washington football team on this podcast. We say Redskins.
Yeah. And then who would be their college teams?
Georgetown?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's the only one that comes to mind for me. But out
of the whole world, it came up with 8 U.S. cities.
8 U.S. cities.
Hey, all right, a month in, America's already becoming great again, right, guys?
Well, it was funny because Detroit ranks, as far as a sport-by-sport breakdown, Detroit ranks this way. Number 1 in hockey, number 11th in baseball, number 28th in basketball, 61st in football. That really shocks me because I maintain.
Did they toss the Lions record? Is that one of the metrics?
It's based on performance level of the city teams, average ticket price per games, number of sports bars, and 47 other key metrics.
Hey, you know what then? Do this shit in 2 years. Once that new arena opens, I bet you they'd move up in football.
Oh, and we're 78th in soccer, which I'm like, do we even have a soccer team? Like, okay.
No soccer team gets you number 78.
But I also found it funny because, I looked at this article and I was like, all right. And
no Dallas on that list?
Not in the top 8. Not in the top 8. Which is shocking. I mean, New York, okay, number 1, I get. Boston, okay, I get. Look at all the championships they've had.
I'm surprised Boston isn't number 1 just because their fans, all of them, are just fucking rabid. I worked in Boston for a year and a half. I mean, they love them some Bruins. They love them some Pats. They love their Sox. They love their Celtics.
Yeah, do you even need to bring up the Red Sox Nation?
Dude, I've been I was at people's houses. They have newspaper clippings of fucking Tom Brady like in their living room and shit. Like I swear to fucking God, like I'm not making that up.
Like that's where the fathead business goes, right there.
Like no, I'm talking like framed, like they framed them themselves, like that kind of shit.
Light a candle by it every night and shit.
Say a prayer before St. Tom.
Oh yeah, he was limited in practice today. They could probably be pushing the candle through the paper plate this week.
I saw this article and then I fell down a internet search hole and I ended up at an article breaking down NFL attendance so far this season. So take a wild guess who's number 1. What team has
San Francisco.
Best attendance?
The worst attendance, man.
Number one is the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
Number 2 is the Packers. 3 is the Redskins. 4 and 5 are Giants and Jets. 6 is Broncos. 7 is the Rams. 8's the Panthers. 9 is the Chiefs. So there you go, Iceman. 10th is the Saints. Now, guess where Detroit is?
31st.
Real close. 30th.
30. Damn.
30th. Yes, out of 32 teams, Detroit is 30th.
I can't fucking afford it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. I've been to Ford Field twice, and I've been $200 lighter each time. And that was me by myself, just paying for everything by myself with a friend, and my ticket was free.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, when I was married, me and the ex-wife knew a guy.
That had to be a $500 day.
Knew a guy with season tickets, and he was 17 rows off the end zone, and we got free tickets, and I think we spent around $350, $400 total. So yeah. Oh, and that's pre-gaming also.
Yeah, I spent $200 by myself with taking down a pint of whiskey before I even got in the fucking field.
Yeah. Now, you guys mentioned the 49ers. This is what's shocking. 13th. But yet all we hear is how the 49ers have shit attendance. No one's going to their games. Yet they're 13th.
This year?
Well, yeah. Well, probably compared to when Jesus and Khakis was in San Francisco.
This is 2016 attendance.
Yeah, I'm sure attendance is they're 2 years removed from Harbaugh. That means they're 2 years from being relevant, 2 years from being in the playoffs. For sure, attendance is going to be down.
Well, I'd have just thought with all of the talk about how the stadium's empty all the time, that's the narrative that certain people push, that they'd be way, way farther down on the list.
No, because you brought it up on a couple shows ago. It's the environment. He's probably in the perfect city to be doing what he's doing. The only city that would probably be a little bit more receptive is probably down in LA. You know,
I mean, the Pats are at 18. That's shocking. The Browns are at 20, which just proves I've been to Cleveland on game day, and I wasn't even wearing Lions gear. I just wore a shirt that I guess if you really wanted to be pissy, you could consider it Honolulu blue. And if you were partially colorblind, and I caught shit. And that was the day where the Browns won. So they are rabid in Cleveland. I can.
Well, they got the dog pound. The dog pound is just as bad as Sock Nation, dude.
Dude, the dog pound is the Midwest versions of the black hole.
Exactly.
Which is amazing because bringing up number 32 in total attendance, dead last, is the Oakland Raiders.
The pound hole.
But then again, like I said before, you also have to look at the economics of the area of these teams, bro. Detroit, whether they're good or bad, whether you support them or don't, you can't afford to go there.
Yeah. Well, that's something else that, I don't think.
I should not have to consider skipping some kind of payment to go to a football game.
Right?
But you have to. That's what it's turned into. The average fan has been priced out of sports in the last I'm going to say probably decade to 15 years, more so than at any other point in my entire life. I mean, I remember you used to go up to the will call window, and you could buy some bleacher seats for the Tigers on game day, go in, watch the game, leave, and you might be $50, $60 later total.
Right, and you got a dog, couple of brewskis, had a great day.
Yeah.
Now that's your beer budget for the first quarter.
Unless you want to walk a mile and a half, you're paying $20 to $25 or $15 to $25 for parking anywhere around Comerica Park. $10 a beer, like $6 a hot dog. I mean, God forbid you take your kids and they want any memorabilia.
$50 a seat.
Yeah, exactly. 10 years ago, Skyline seats were going for $5 a pop, which is, the ultimate nosebleed. You are literally maybe 15 feet below the lights. That's how high up and far up you are in left field away from the action. Now I think those same seats go for $21. That's been in 10 years they've went up that much.
You're like looking over at the Fox Theater. You can see people in the windows there. Hey, you're closer to them than the field.
And it's back to the point I was making with Chris. Couple of years, it won't take 20 years. Couple of years, people will stop watching professional sports. You're going to price me out of coming into my home stadium where I can watch and enjoy with my son or my family or my first date or whatever. I can't afford to go see it live. I'm going to have to sit home, have a beer, and have refs dictate to me how this is going to go. And watch millions and millions and millions upon millions of dollars be paid to these athletes while I can't even afford to get to the stadium? Please.
Okay,
Stop, man. I think as long as the penis exists and testosterone exists, sports will be watched. But that's one man's opinion.
Let's run down right here. First of all, in the last 10 years, you've also had, quantum leaps forward as far as home entertainment systems, the size of TVs, the clarity of the quality of a broadcast, surround sound systems. So you can drop, let's just a conservative estimate. Okay, you can drop maybe $3,000 on a quote unquote man cave setup to watch your sports.
Yep.
And sit in way more comfortable surroundings. Do what the fuck you want. Say what the fuck you want. Not have to worry about parking and the weather and
being banned from Chula's tobacco and
all this bullshit.
The Lions win. You can toss your wife's salad right there. You don't have to worry about public indecency,
right? There's that. There's also the fact that when I had season tickets for the Tigers in 2005, me and the ex-wife used to go. I took friends who were like, hey, I got tickets for the game. She's working or she doesn't want to go. And I'd, run down a list. And I wouldn't have to get very far usually before someone said yes. But even her loving to go to games and liking to go to games, and this was in 2005 before they started the run they started in 2006. So even though we had Skyline season tickets, we could sit anywhere in the fucking park. They weren't, except unless it was like a Yankees or a Red Sox game or something like that. They weren't checking to make sure you were in your right fucking seat. In fact, people literally, when we would sit up in the Skyline sometimes just because for a change of pace instead of sitting on the first or third base line, people were smoking and drinking their own fucking shit they brought up in there. It was like a party up in the stands. So, because obviously the product in the field wasn't that great. But now that postseason, when the White Sox played the Astros in the World Series, she got super into that World Series. And that's where she really got to the point where she was like, now I really love baseball. And I said, this season we've been to what? I had almost a 40 game package, and you've been to at least 2/3 of them. And now all of a sudden you can't get enough baseball. And she's like, it's so much better and so much more enjoyable. And I understand what's going on a lot better when I watch it on TV. TV has become, with all the stuff they can put on the screen, has just become a better way to watch sports a lot of times.
And it's cheaper.
Live is a pain in the ass sometimes because look at the overtime field goal that just happened where half the team the holder was sitting there going, oh, he missed it, and it went through the fucking uprights. They're on the field. They're the players. You don't get a better fucking seat than that. This is what I'm saying. You can sit in the comfort of your home. It's cheaper. Less of a headache. You don't have to deal with crowds. And let's be honest, some NFL teams have a fan base that if you are not a fan of the home team, you might as well not go to the game wearing anything for the team you're going to see. That's all I'm going to say. I've seen children get accosted at games before. People be like, you little motherfucker, you're wearing the wrong jersey. And I'm like, the kid's 6. Leave him alone. What the fuck? Who cares if he's wearing a Favre jersey? He's fucking 6.
But I'll tell you, too, now when I'm asked to go to a game, I have the same kind of mixed emotions as you probably feel when you're asked to stand up in a wedding. You're like, oh, yeah, sure. And then in your head, you're like, God damn it, now I got to spend a whole bunch of fucking money.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a very good comparison because it's kind of how I feel. And on top
I
of
can
that,
sit at home and watch it for free and spend the money. I can buy 6 beers for the price of one.
Exactly.
For starters. Yeah. We'll start there.
So that's definitely why the attendance is down, no doubt about it.
But I also find it interesting that, was it 3 million people? The attendance, except for this year for the Detroit Tigers, has been going up and up and up. And they broke that 3 million for the season mark, and it was like, ooh, big whoop and this and that. Now it's like it's the problem that any business has. Everybody expects growth constantly. Well, there's a certain point where you can't get any more growth.
Yeah, you could argue the Wings went through it in probably 2010. Isn't that when the sellout streak stopped?
Yeah, and they've got a new one started up. But still, a lot of those quote unquote sellouts are based on people having season tickets that just aren't there. That's how come, you'll see a lot of times seats near the glass are empty. And, oh man, there's no one there. No, those are season ticket holders that just didn't go to the game and couldn't find anyone to take the tickets off their hands.
Well, and not just that, a lot of the Lions and all of those, Red Wings and everything that are being sold out is by Ford.
Well, that's why they lifted the blackout restrictions, because local businesses got tired of having to buy 2,000 to 5,000 tickets to sell out a Lions game so it could be shown on TV. I mean, I'm not even joking.
I'll tell you, the company I work for may or may not be associated with the Red Wings and the Tigers. You can tell when tickets are selling and tickets aren't. Because when tickets aren't selling, we're getting baseball and hockey tickets thrown at us every other fucking week. But when the tickets are selling, you don't see dick.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, spot on right there.
Well, in 2012, now it came back. 2012 is when the sellout streak stopped. When that sellout streak stopped, all of a sudden, hey, boss would be like, hey, here's 4 hockey tickets. Like, wow, haven't seen these ever in a decade. And you just start doing the math. What I first started in 2006 or 2005. Guess who was getting Tiger tickets in the store and had them literally every other fucking week?
Yeah,
me. But yeah, 2006, all of a sudden, hey, Tiger tickets dried up.
Dude, I had 2. Okay, I heard something.
We lost Chris.
Okay, I'll give him a chance to call back. Come on, realize that you're not on here.
No, he just went to buy some Tiger tickets. He'll be back.
Hey, here we go.
There he is.
Okay.
I've been instituting the mute button when I talk, and I hit the wrong goddamn button.
Me too.
Okay, so like I was saying, in 2005, I had 2 40-game season ticket packages for Tigers. It was under $400. Try that now. You can't do it.
That'd be like the 10-game package.
Yeah. For the same seats. Exactly, yeah. So, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting because the teams, I mean, you expect Dallas to be up there. Green Bay, the fucking people of Green Bay own the fucking team. So, you expect them to support something that they own or are partial owners of. And, the usual suspects, teams that are doing well up there. Well, like the Rams to be in the top 10. I mean, let's be honest. LA fans aren't known to be the most loyal people. Like the whole joke of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What's going on with the Rams right now is probably akin to a new Taco Bell opening up. It's something that, oh, hey, look, it's new, and we'll go to it for a minute. And, as soon as they post their losing record this season, after Jared Goff crashes and burns, we'll get to that later, then they'll be back to, probably why they left LA in the first place when, you were seeing those half-empty stadiums back when I was little.
And I have to believe that. And, the Panthers, that's probably season ticket sales based on last year's performance. Definitely not based on this year's performance. Kansas City Chiefs, Earl, you can attest to this. They have a loyal fan base. Can't fuck with them.
Extremely.
Well, when all you got is the Royals, that's your alternative.
The Saints, pretty much the same thing. I mean, what else do they have there in New Orleans?
The Pelicans.
Okay. And then the Giants and the Jets
that just ain't right.
Are in New York. So, I mean, what are you going to do? But, yeah, it's interesting. And, I mean, like I said, I don't want to argue about something we can't prove because we're talking about 20 years in the future. But speculating is different than sitting here and debating it. I can imagine maybe, and this is counterintuitive, especially with what's going on now, that a lot of stadiums being built, if they keep seeing declining attendance, but the ratings and the money still coming in, I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing smaller stadiums and venues. That wouldn't shock me to start seeing that in 20 years if the trend continues like it does. Because hey, you can't. I mean, look at the Big House. Okay, that's U of M football, and where the Raiders play holds almost 100,000 people, and they have to block off the top fucking part of that stadium when the Raiders and the A's play there because they can't sell. There's no way, and they don't want to show that many empty seats, so they put that green tarp over it.
Again, you got to look at the economics of the people, dude. People in Oakland want to go. They want to go, especially this season. They can't afford it.
Yeah, Oakland ain't exactly a hustling, bustling area. That's for damn sure. But yeah, that's all I got. So do we want to touch on this Joe McKnight situation or?
Well, apparently, if you are an NFL player and you live in New Orleans, calm the fuck down when you drive your car. Isn't this kind of how the same way Will Smith got taken out?
Yeah, kind of the same way.
Well, Will Smith, isn't there? There was like that story kind of fizzled out a lot more than I thought it would. But I mean, putting on the tinfoil hat that we pass around like a party joint on this show. There's also apparently there was an issue between him and the alleged murderer that had bled over, and that was the reason why that happened. So maybe that's the reason it's not getting front page headlines nationally, because they just don't want to. It is the NFL, and ultimately, no matter what we say, no matter what anyone says, the NFL is going to protect that shield at all costs. And if he was involved in some shady shit, the NFL really doesn't want to put that on Front Street. But from what I've seen from the articles I've read about this, and I've only read a couple, this seems like a road rage incident of some sort. A lady who requested not to be identified, which should tell you something right there, said she witnessed it. She was coming out of the store. She saw a man arguing with McKnight. McKnight trying to apologize to the man. The man cussed out McKnight, pulled out a gun, shot him, walked up to him, shot him again, said something, and ran off. And this was all after supposedly exchanging words after a traffic incident. So,
hope it was worth it, buddy. You're going to be somebody's bitch for the next couple decades. Hope it was worth it. Way to keep your temper in check.
His name's Ronald Gasser. He's 54. He relinquished his weapon to officers, was taken into custody, and is being questioned at the moment. They declined comment on whether he'd be charged.
So he's got to be charged.
Wait, you shot somebody. There's witnesses. What do you mean he's not going to be charged? Well, they mean decline comment on whether or not. Sorry.
Just saying. That's what the article says.
No, it's rhetorical. Was it to you, Rich? It was rhetorical.
And this is the latest one. That's why I pulled it up. So
has to be charged.
What did you say? I accidentally pulled out my gun and shot him?
And walked up and shot him again? I tripped? Oops. Starting to sound like a man story to a woman. It just happened. I tripped and boom.
Yeah, we're back to trip, fell, landed on his dick.
Yeah. Just slipped in some pussy. I don't know how that happened. Wasn't looking for it.
It just was all over the place. Slipped on the floor. Ding! My bad. Sorry.
It's crazy. The next thing I knew, I was inside of her. I don't remember what happened.
Well, the interesting thing about this is that McKnight was 28 years old? The article doesn't say. He wasn't that old of a guy. I mean, he went to USC, played for 4 seasons in the NFL, played in the CFL. I mean, so it's not like this was a retired player into his 40s, 50s, whatever. I mean, this is all reckless speculation from this point on, at least on my part. But I mean, what the fuck is going on with players and this hyper-aggressive, I'm bulletproof attitude that some tend to exhibit when they're not on the field? I mean, I understand you have to play that way on the field, but doesn't real life kick in at some point and you realize that, oh yeah, just because I have to have the mentality of I'm an Iron Man on the field doesn't mean that that's going to fucking work.
No.
Well, first it sounds like, before I say what I want to say, it does sound like Joe McKnight wasn't the aggressor. It sounds like he was trying to be cool.
No, what it sounds like is that Joe might have been the aggressor until the man showed that he had a gun. Because you're only getting a half-assed story of I mean, it's like us giving our half-assed opinions. You're getting a half of a story of a lady who came out and thinks she saw something. Okay? No, Rich, the answer to your question is no. When you're that big, you get paid that much money, no. You are entitled to the world, my friend. Look at anything. Ray Lewis at a nightclub. Cam Newton driving his fucking 4-wheel drive down a freeway. Everybody, you're so untouchable. You're so entitled that the world is, it's like Scarface, the world's yours. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Everybody is supposed to bow down to your ass. And the problem is...
There's something someone can do about it. They can put a couple hot ones in your ass.
Okay, but until that happens, okay, people like him, and we were talking about Will Smith, people that bench press that much weight and that work out that much, and I'm not saying, supplements are involved or anything, but people that move that much weight and have that much money, their head isn't like you or me. It isn't rational. It isn't, okay, I'm in the real world. These people don't know who I am. Let me dial it down. No,
I totally get that, because we have a mutual friend who, back when Joey Harrington was playing, used to swear up and down that he beat Joey Harrington's ass to a pulp if he ever saw him in real life. And I said, dude, you are fucking retarded. Okay, you are a goddamn landscaper who smokes weed, smokes cigarettes, does other things, and this is a professional athlete who works out every day of his fucking life. As much as you think he's a bitch, he's in better shape. He's got muscles where you don't even have flab, motherfucker.
Joey Harrington hadn't eaten a carb in a decade. You had 3 today.
Yeah, he will stomp the shit out of you just based on pure muscle. And I'm like, you just don't get it. Like,
well, look at the WWE, okay? Even as fake as it is, there's fans that have rushed that ring. And there's a video.
Stupid.
They are retarded, because there's a video of Triple H fighting Stone Cold, okay? And a fan rushed the ring and started to beat the shit out of Stone Cold because he was supposed to be on his back, just took a bump from Hunter or whatever. And Hunter comes over and tears this man apart. And then security grabs him and tries to escort him out, but he's fucked up, like totally. Okay, that's the realism. Is people see these people and they think, well, they can't be that bad. No, they are that bad. And the other problem is like I said, the people, these athletes know they're that bad and demand a respect that just isn't going to ever be given. I am that bad. I do lift this much weight. I am this much of an athlete. I do have this much money. You're supposed to care, but we don't care. And it leads to something like this where McKnight was probably like, you stupid motherfucker, how come you can't drive? I'm going to kick your ass. And the guy was like, really? Look at it. Listen to my little friend. And the next thing you know, the lady comes out the store. The argument finally over. McKnight's backing up. The guy finally does pull his gun to shut up McKnight. Pop, pop, pop. Game over.
I think in some cases, I think you have 2 really dangerous mindsets working in tandem. I think the first one you got is, you could argue with some of these guys might be something culturally from perhaps the neighborhood in which they grew up. Yeah, Rich, we said it before, the people that, like, you put respect on my name, dog, those kind of people. But then, too, it's another thing we've talked about a lot on this show, is they didn't all of a sudden just get good at sports. They've been probably at this point, by the time you make it to the pros, you've been probably having your ass kissed for a good decade. It's hot chick syndrome. All right? Hot chicks up until, about 30 or 35 think the world is great. People just give you things. I walk out of the door, someone just hands me something every day.
Yeah, and athletes.
The first time you get told no, you have no idea how to fucking handle it.
And I'm so rich, they're just going to give it to me. You just walk up and grab them by the pussy. Oops.
And athletes, just like the beautiful people, and I would even extend it to, yes, I understand that hot chicks, because we're guys, it's the way but I mean, even the pretty boys out there get that to a certain extent, because I've known a couple, and I'm just like, wow, dude, you lived a charmed life. You get away with murder compared to the shit that I'd have to have fucking 7 figures before the decimal point in my bank account to get away with what you get away with.
Did either of you guys ever watch 30 Rock?
No.
Oh, there was a few episodes where Tina Fey dates John Hamm, and the whole gimmick behind it is he gets everything, and like he's fucking, a beautiful man. But the thing is he's dumb as shit. And she learns in a couple episodes that he has had everything fucking handed to him throughout his whole life because he is good looking. Like, he's talking about he gives lessons to people at the tennis club because he's so good, and then she goes with him to play tennis, and he's fucking awful. He like orders shit off the menu at restaurants that aren't even on the menu, and they bring it to him anyways. But it's that kind of, man, I wish I was in the studio because I'd at least play a clip of it. But yeah, it's that kind of mentality. It's like you could be the world's been kissing your ass and telling you you've been good at things your whole life, and then once the reality sets in, once someone finally tells you no, or something doesn't go your way, you don't know how to fucking handle it. And I think a situation like today with Joe McKnight, it could have been something like that. Someone told him to fuck off, and no one's ever told him to fuck off before because he's been a big, bad NFL player. And now we have what we have.
That's what I was saying. And you also got to remember, I was right about in the ballpark with his age. He was just drafted in 2010 into the NFL. His last time he played was with the Chiefs in 2014.
Was it average careers, 3.5 years?
Yeah, but I mean, he played for the CFL, so it sounds like maybe that he just he was a fourth round draft pick. He had 1,000 yards in his senior year at USC. Sounds to me like he was just and coming from me, I mean, it's a joke, ha ha ha, because I'm so ridiculously fat and out of shape. But I mean, it sounds like he was just an average fucking football player,
Okay, but here's the thing, Rich. Even with the average football player, I had recently had an encounter here in Wichita. Do you guys know who John Randall is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Used to play for, oh, shit. Didn't he used to play for the Vikings?
Dallas. He was the Dallas running back. Okay.
Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else then.
Well, not that Randall. But he was the Dallas Cowboys running back. He thought he was big shit. He's from Wichita. He comes home all the time. Well, he likes to gamble. So he ends up at a casino called the Kansas Star. And he thinks the world owes him something. The Kansas Star should bow down because they got an NFL player in there. And he got into a whole bunch of shit, ended up trying to take on our security, got hurt, got arrested, and he's no longer the Dallas Cowboys running back. They got Elliott.
Well, I mean, that does happen. I mean, it wasn't.
But even when he was playing, though, he was a half-ass player because they also had the former Oakland running back. What's his name?
McFadden.
Yeah, Darren McFadden.
Yeah, Randall. He was backing up DeMarco Murray too.
Right. So he's like you said, an average quote player, but they get this mystique. They need to start holding classes, and I'm not kidding, because this has been a problem for a lot of people, a lot of professional athletes. Cam Newton, I could do this all day. Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, fucking LeBron James. He got butt sore, and all of a sudden he comes on and loses everything. No respect for the best coach in the fucking NBA ever. Yeah, this has become a problem with professional athletes everywhere across sports. And professional sports, it's this mystique of I am the man. Without me, this team fails. Okay, everybody in the city needs to bow down, kiss the ground I walk on. No, that's not the way life works. You don't get out of college and get paid all this money, and all of a sudden, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
We also have
Earl, I agree with you, but I'm not defending him, but if you've been told you're the man for the last 15 years, you're going to think you're the man. It's a deeper issue. I'm saying the whole blame doesn't fall at their feet. The people who've been surrounding him for the last decade and a half are definitely feeding that too.
When you get drafted into professional sports, they have a class about, sex and violence and everything else that rookies and professional athletes get involved in, scandals, all kinds of shit. They do. They have a class for that. They also need to institute a class about how to conduct yourself outside of the profession.
They do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do, dude. We played the fucking video, the audio of it. When Chris Carter, was it Chris Carter? They got called out.
Yeah, get yourself a fall guy.
Yeah, he says you got an entourage. You're going to have someone in your crew who, if someone fucks up, he's the one that's going to do the time. And you take care of him when he's in. So you put his money in his commissary, and when he gets out, you take care of him. Dude, we played the fucking audio. It was on the NFL website. It was a story 2 years ago. They have this. Herm Edwards gives the fucking speech. His famous thing is, I got the rule of one. If you're a rookie in the NFL, you need one of everything. One girlfriend or one wife. Not one of each. One car. One piece of jewelry. Not the Mr. T starter kit. You know, I mean, he runs through the whole list. One house. I mean, dude, they don't listen. Listen, a lot of the problem is these guys have been the best athletes from the moment, a lot of these guys at least, they first started playing. They've been at least if they weren't the best on the team, they were the standout ones who had the most potential. And they've been groomed. And usually when you are the best athlete on a team like that, on teams like that, you are used to winning all the time. And then you go to college. And if you go to a college who's a football factory or in contention for a national championship or constantly ranked in the top 25, you're going to win more than you lose. Then you get drafted. And usually, who's drafting first? Teams that fucking suck. So then you get stuck on teams like, I don't know, the Lions, okay, or the Cleveland Browns.
Unless your last name is Manning, then you just pitch a fit and you get traded.
Well, I mean, Elway did it too.
Can we also say that a lot of this has to do with millennials? I mean, seriously, kind of, a little bit.
But it's not just millennials. It's the attitude of I've been winning and I've been getting patted on the back, and I've never had to get used to losing because I've never done a whole lot of it. And then
but you say that.
I'm defending the millennials. I can't believe it right now, but this has been going on since before millennials, man. It used to be, at least I think about a decade ago, it was more prevalent in maybe like basketball. You know, now it's bled over into football.
No, I can't. I can't think of anybody from 1980 through 2000 that would remind me of the way the athletes act today. Not one.
Dennis Rodman?
Dennis Rodman was a freak. He didn't get on the fucking news and cry and bitch and say, I have no respect for the greatest coach ever.
But he got on the news for a whole bunch of other reasons.
Well, yeah, because he was a fucking freak.
No, but we're talking about the attitude of I'm big and I'm bad and everyone should bow down. Dude, that's been going on in sports.
It's been going on since the gladiator days, dude.
Yeah. But listen, they do that on TV. They do it in the game. They do it in press conferences. But when they're out on the street, they don't do that.
I can think of a whole team, more players than not, who did that back in the 80s. It's called the 1980s Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, and then which would lead us into the 1990s Dallas Cowboys.
No, guys, you're talking about people that were big and bad on the field and in press conferences. When they went to a store or to a restaurant out on the fucking freeway.
Can we just agree to disagree here?
No, look, dude, here's the deal. Okay, this ain't even opinion. This is facts. You can look up the records, the police records of those guys from the 1980s fucking University of Miami teams. Okay, those guys were bad boys. And they liked being bad boys. They said so in their own documentary. They bragged about brawling with teams, the opposing team at strip clubs the night before a game.
Again, Rich, that's part of that being a game. But show me one news story, one factual news story.
How is that? That's not on the field. No, it's not. That is what we're talking about. That is them acting like idiots off the field.
No, it's not. That's part of a rivalry, fighting other teams.
Show me one fact.
Wait a minute.
No, in the strip club, in public, whether or not.
One factual news story where one professional athlete was out on a freeway or out in public arguing with another guy and got shot. Because I could show you a handful right now in the 2000s of professional athletes that have been shot.
Earl, you're moving the goalposts again.
I'm not moving.
I thought we were talking about conduct off the field. Now we're talking about just a specific incident of someone running their mouth and getting shot.
I'm talking about what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not talking about the Hurricanes fighting an opposing team in a strip club. I'm talking about Adama Kinsu going out into the field, off the field, okay, out onto a fucking I-94 and getting into a brawl with Joe Schmo.
Charles Barkley in the early 1990s put a guy through a plate glass window at a bar because the guy fucked with him. Bob Probert used to have people fuck with him in public and pick fights with him, and he beat the shit out of him. Same thing with Darren McCarty. Okay, and Probert goes back to the 80s. McCarty goes back to the early 90s.
McCarty, also number 25. And Earl, what's the difference between getting in a fight on the freeway or getting in a fight in a strip club? You're getting just as arrested.
No, you are, but there's different reasons for it. You're fighting an opposing team.
It's assault and battery. It's going to be assault and battery. Either one. You punch a stranger on the freeway or the opposing cornerback in the club, it's still going to be assault and battery.
You're right.
Charge.
You're right, but it's for a different reason. One?
No, it's not.
It is. It is. It's a different mindset.
It's all hubris, dude. It's all the male fucking ego. It's all, let's just pull them out and see which one's bigger.
Go with that. We could go with that. Definitely. I will definitely agree with you there. It is definitely a male ego. But to fight an opposing team is not the same thing as fighting a Joe Smo. John Q. Public is not the same thing as an opposing team.
Misconduct is misconduct, man. Like, do you have classifications of misconduct?
Okay,
they're getting the same level of arrested. It doesn't matter the circumstances.
I have a better understanding of them fighting an opposing team in a strip club than a guy out on a fucking freeway.
Okay.
That nobody's ever heard of till now.
Okay, now what about, once again, going back to them guys bragging about in a documentary, putting on ski mask, going through the student and faculty parking lot, breaking into cars, stealing radios, and selling them and shit, carrying guns, selling drugs. One of them even flat out says, I had a baby. I had a 3-year-old son by the time I got into college. I was going to eat by any means necessary. That was his rationale for what he did, right or wrong, whatever. He was out there committing felonies that he was admitting to because the statutes of limitations have been up on him. This was in the early and mid 80s, man. You're just arguing because you don't want to be wrong. That's it.
Has nothing to do with right or wrong, Rich. Has nothing to do with it.
Yes, because you are wrong. The facts have proved you wrong. We've done it here for 30 minutes now, and you just will not go, you're right. You won't do it.
I did say he was right. It's definitely a cock measure. It's male, ego. Absolutely is. But there is a difference, okay, when you're fighting an opposing team in a strip club to John Q. Public on a freeway.
Is there? Can you tell the cop that?
Hold on a second.
Hey, officer, don't worry. It's just a fight in a strip club. This isn't the same.
Okay, so how come you've glossed over my examples I've given you of players from the 80s and 90s who were doing this shit, who were fighting other players in a strip club? You didn't challenge me on the Bob Probert beating guys' asses in bars. You didn't challenge me on the whole fucking Darren McCarty doing things. And these are from their own biographies that they wrote. These are their own fucking words. Okay, they have police records you can go look up on this shit.
All right, Rich, you're right.
All right, well, let's talk about the NFL this weekend. First of all, my one question is Brandon Cooks fucking Mrs. Drew Brees? Because Drew Brees was handing out touchdowns like Oprah, and he didn't even get a look. It was that kind of weekend.
Full of what the fuckins, I'm telling you.
Yeah, thanks for the big 0 you gave me, Cooks. Oh, thank you also for the big 0 you gave me, Ebron. Fucking asshole. But, I mean, we're getting down to it. We're going into week 13 already. Good Lord. But, you smell that? That's the playoffs. They're on the way. And our own Detroit
playoffs?
Our own Detroit Lions, as of right now, they're 2 games up right now, because we're recording this Thursday Night Football just ended. For the record, we all picked the Cowboys before it started because we wanted it to be on the up and up. So we're all
we should have a record of that.
Yes. And yeah, Cowboys won 17-15. So do we talk about the weekend, or do we talk about who do we think's legit here? Who do we think's really going to make it? I'll leave it up to you guys.
Well, I mean, as far as who's legit, I think it's more interesting to hear the quote-unquote professional four-letter network and Fox Sports guys, paid talking heads, talk about how they don't think the Raiders are for real, and they don't think the Dallas Cowboys are for real.
You only have 3 more weeks for them to not. At some point, it's going to become a math game, gentlemen.
No. What those people are talking about, it's not that they're for real. It's who's going to survive in the playoffs.
Yeah.
People are saying, like, in the division, the Lions are for real. The Lions are the shit. But when they get to the playoffs, they ain't going to amount to nothing because they're not that good.
Well, I mean, for starters, at some point, they're going to have to play Dallas, and I don't see them. Well, they're going to have to play Dallas before the season ends.
Yeah, so they do not have an easy schedule from here on out.
Yeah, that's. I could see us going fucking 7-9 with what we have left here. We got the Giants, we got the Cowboys, we got Green Bay again. Who else? We got one more time with Chicago, right?
And New Orleans this week, I think.
Yeah. New Orleans.
Or no, yes, we already did our 2 Chicagos, but that's fucking yeah. If the Lions are going to prove they're for real, it's going to be over this next month. Straight up with onions.
See, I don't know. To me, if the Lions make the playoffs, I don't care. I don't care if they're right now they're a number 3 seed. I don't care if they're a number 1 seed overall in the conference. Win a game. I'm not picking them until they do that.
Yeah.
It's just like I said last week when I picked Ohio State over Michigan. Until Michigan wins that game, I'm not convinced they can do it.
It's just like history shows us. Your regular season record don't mean dick. Throughout any professional sports, that's been true. Last year with the Golden State Warriors broke the Chicago Bulls winning record for the season. Woohoo! What happened in the finals? Win 7 games, you lost after having a 3-1 lead in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean a thing. Okay, my problem here is the talking heads that Rich is talking about is still latching on to people like, Denver. Denver's still going to be it. I'm sorry, they don't have the offense they had when they had Peyton Manning.
No, but they still have the defense.
They have a small portion of their defense.
It's been winning them games, man.
It has. But when does that run out, though? I mean, when you go up against something like Tom Brady and the Belichick system, what good is your one part small, you got Miller, woohoo, and on the other side you got DeMarcus Ware.
I will say this. One of the gentlemen that I'm referring to, who says that Oakland and Dallas aren't for real, and he is carrying the flag and the torch for the Pats. He did say that, but that was before it came out that Gronk is going in for back surgery and he's out for the rest of the season. Is that going to make that big of a difference? Will it change his mind? Of course not. Because to guys like him, to reverse himself is worse than like being castrated. Okay? Because that's what he does. It's Stephen A. Smith, basically. I mean, he even went so far as to make a bit of eating snacks while Max Kellerman, his new sparring partner, was explaining why the Dallas Cowboys are for real. Like, just to totally ignore him and be like, "Oh boy, these chips are good." Why he's sitting there? His co-host is sitting there making a point. So it's a shtick, it's a bit. I get it, but at some point there has to be a little bit of a grain of truth in what he's saying, that he believes this shit.
Well, I'm kind of with him. I don't think Gronk being out for the rest of the season is going to. He's been with them sporadically all year, and they're still winning. I don't think.
Oh no, I was just saying that he's
going to hurt their chances.
Yeah, he made this, but this was before he knew Gronk was out. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it changed his mind. That's what I'm getting at. But I mean, okay, look at Dallas' schedule. Has Dallas played people that should have beat them, that they've won the game? I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, how can you say a team's not for real? Go back
at this point. Yeah, their schedule, it's their record speaks for itself.
Go back and look at the 2008 Super Bowl or 2007 season, And the last game of the season for the Patriots was the Giants. And Rodney Harrison himself said when they played the Giants weren't scared of them. He said, that's the first team we played all fucking season that weren't scared of us. And we did not want to see them again in the playoffs because we knew it'd be for all the marbles. And sure as shit, what happened? They played them. And he was like, they never once backed down. They never once were scared of us on that field like other teams were. I mean, so there has to be something for, okay, I understand your record don't mean shit once you get into a one-and-done playoff situation. But there's also teams that can back into the playoffs, and there's teams that actually can get into the playoffs, and they aren't scared of anybody they play. It's just the mentality they have and the swagger they carry about them.
And I think that's the Raiders.
I agree with you. I think anyone who says that the Raiders aren't for fucking real this season is fooling themselves.
I think they're for real, but I think they're not going to – if they got to play the Patriots in the playoffs, they're done. Because while their offense has been super good this year, Oakland's problem is their defense. They've let a lot of points score this year. There's been more than one fourth quarter comeback for Mr. Derek Carr.
Well, speaking of fourth quarter comebacks, I mean, you know,
Mr. Clutch.
looking at you know the Lions in the NFC North. I mean, is Stafford? If the Lions put themselves in a situation where they need a fourth quarter comeback, I mean, is he going to fucking fold under the pressure? Do you guys think he has it in him to actually rise to the occasion?
No, I totally believe that if they keep playing that way, we're going to lose. Because it is, as one sportscaster said, you know, playing with fire. You're going to mess around and you're going to get burned eventually. It's going to happen. You can't keep going into the fourth quarter losing every single game and depend on Matthew Stafford and the offense to bail you out. At some point, somebody's going to drop a ball. Somebody's not going to make the extra a yard you need. The kicker's going to miss eventually. I mean, it is playing with fire, and if you do it long enough, you're going to get burned. There's no doubt in my mind. If they don't start playing the way they play in the fourth quarter throughout the game, it's curtains. And it's a shame, but that's just what it's going to be.
Well, you know, I have heard an opinion that it's like, okay, the Lions' first drive of the game and the last 5 minutes of the game is when they play their best. And the rest of the, you know, the second and third quarter, it's almost like they play either down to or up to the other team, but they can never play better than the other team during those two quarters.
I've heard it compared to the rope-a-dope.
Let them fucking just slug themselves out.
Let them run, let them hit, let them run, let them hit, let them run, let them hit. Okay, fourth quarter, my turn.
Yeah, just gas them. I mean, if you're running a 2-minute drill and you're winning more times than not, there's something to be said for that. Conditioning does play a factor at a certain point. I mean, how many teams do you remember back in the day when Kelly would run his no-huddle offense? It was amazing, you know, when teams would start getting gassed, how many injuries would happen just so there could be a timeout. I mean, that was one of the things that on the documentary about him that they pointed out. And backed it up with footage, which was pretty funny.
If you watch, I think the last 5 Lions games, that's exactly what happened. We have been losing in the fourth quarter for the past 5 fucking games. And it really does look like kind of a rope-a-dope. We go out there with offense, we go out there with defense. We're given kind of performance. Like you said, Rich, we play up to the level of who, or down to the level of who we're playing. Let them run, and maybe we'll tackle them, maybe we'll swat the ball. Fourth quarter, the other team's like, yeah, we're up, good, because I'm beat. I'm going to go take a nap. And then the Lions come out and go, okay, my turn. Kind of like the Redskins game. You know, I make fun of them, but, you know, their quarterback grabbed the ball, ran it 20 yards. Oh, he's got the winning touchdown. You like that? You like that? How you like me now? And Matt Stafford was like, you're cute, little buddy. Sit down. And then showed him that with a minute and 6 seconds left, he can march down the field and score. So, I mean, it is kind of a rope-a-dope. So if that's what they're doing, maybe they're not playing with fire. Maybe they're playing very smart and holding their best efforts till the end of the game. However, if that's not what they're doing and they're really trying and they're just coming up short till the fourth quarter, that's playing with fire. And, I mean, At that point, only Jim Caldwell and the team will know what they're doing. It's one or the other, because you can't go to every game losing in the fourth quarter and ask for your offense, hey, could you play a little bit better now because we're going to lose if you don't. So either you're playing with fire or you're doing a rope-a-dope. Either way, they're winning.
Well, I mean, Lions, like I said, you got to show me. Prove it to me. You know, that's how I feel about them. I mean, they got the Saints. Chris, you were right. They do have the Bears after the Saints. Then they're at the Giants and at the Cowboys. Those are 2 road games they could very well lose.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And my only hope is that if they do make the playoffs, that Stafford does actually have some experience behind him now. You know, he's been to the playoffs twice. He lost twice, but, you know, my only glimmer of hope is maybe third time's a charm, and he won't, you know, that maybe, you know, maturity and some leadership will kick in it. But who the fuck knows?
I keep hearing from the talking heads, you know, the E word getting thrown out attached to his name, and I'm just like, okay. And one guy said something to make his case for calling Stafford an elite quarterback that I was like, okay, finally I've heard someone bring up a point that I can agree with, and I can see where he's coming from with that. And he goes, when Stafford had Megatron, a lot of people thought Stafford's stats are only as good as they are, and Stafford is only as good as he is because of who he's throwing to. Now he's really throwing to what? We went through this before. Who is the number 1 receiver? It really isn't one. Exactly. He's making those receivers good. His stats are his stats, not because he's throwing to a freak of nature down the field. And when he said that, I was like, okay, I don't agree that he's elite, but I can see where that would instill confidence in him.
No. I think he is kind of elite. Because of what you just said, the sportscaster said, because I was thinking the same thing, but also he doesn't have a grade A offensive line, okay? He doesn't have a fantabulous running back behind him. And he's still winning games. He's still making his completions.
Oh, come on. You don't think Abdullah is the second coming of Jim Brown?
Really?
In my book, you are not elite unless you win a playoff game or a championship.
And there's the rub, as it is. You know, how do you define elite? Does he have to win a championship? Does he have to win a playoff game?
Yes.
Okay. Because, see, that was the argument I had with fucking Baldy on fucking Monday Night Football trying to tell everybody how to play. Tim Hasselbeck. Get off my television screen. You have Super Bowl winning quarterbacks next to you. Leave. You do not belong there. Get off of SportsCenter. Go find a day job. Coach somewhere. I don't know. Go do something else.
Well, that's just your opinion. I'm sure he wouldn't be on that TV if people didn't watch. Just saying. ESPN would not continue to funnel money. ESPN would not continue to funnel money into someone who's getting no ratings. They need to turn a profit. Just saying.
And I'm just going to say, not only ratings, because it is Monday Night Football, people are going to watch. But here's the deal. If it was universal hatred for him, think back to when Dennis Miller was on Monday Night Football. How long did that crew last in the booth?
6 weeks, maybe.
So obviously he's either meh in most people's minds, or he's good enough to where he's not a distraction. I don't know how Joe Buck still fucking announces World Series games, but that's just me.
Yeah, same here. I think Joe Buck blows, but Fox obviously doesn't. So what the fuck do I know?
And
that's how I look at it.
A lot of people like him, and I'm like, what do you like about him? Talk about low energy, and we'll see you tomorrow night. That's it. That's all you got.
Ripping off his dad?
Well, if anybody's allowed, I guess it's the son, but...
But let's be real. The commentators of these sports, like Joe Buck, Steve Miller, Tim Hasselbeck, it doesn't matter. You're not watching
Steve Miller?
Right. Okay, whatever. But you're not watching it for the fucking
I'll wrap you
commentators. You're watching it because of the game.
I would make the argument that there's very few play-by-play and color guys that people would tune into a game who had no intention of watching a game based on them. They're very few and far between. And I would even say it's less nowadays than it used to be.
Oh, very much so. But, I mean, again, I could sit there and watch Al Michaels talk all day.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Back in the day, like, it meant something if you had a Howard Cosell on Monday Night Football. If you were listening to, we talked about him a couple weeks ago, Vin Scully calling a World Series game, even though it might not be the Dodgers. There was something about it, But to me, it's just a lot of these guys are just like, it's like a 40-degree day. 30 degrees, people are bitching. 50 degrees, people are barbecuing. 40 degrees, no one remembers. There's so many 40-degree days, man.
And so that's what I'm saying about Tim. And that's where, Chris, you're putting Matt Stafford. It's just meh because he hasn't won anything.
Yeah.
He has to have. It's a whole team effort. He's a whole team effort to win a playoff game and a championship.
Okay.
So what are you saying about Megatron? He was meh.
Quarterback runs the offense. Yes.
Have got to be shitting. And Barry Sanders, meh.
In the grand scheme of things, yes. You did shit during the regular season, but you're not going to be mentioned. You're not going to be mentioned. Adrian Peterson's going to end up in the same boat. The guys who were good, but you weren't great.
I'm not going all that far.
Wow.
Okay. Because you can put
because if you don't win, that shit fades. Dan Marino's probably remembered more now for Ace Ventura than he was for when he played.
This isn't the NBA where Michael Jordan can lead 4 other guys to a championship. You have 11 guys on the field versus 11 other guys. That's a lot of responsibility for a lot of fucking people, man.
Here's how I look at it.
You can't lead 10 other people. You can't do that.
Here's how I look at it, and I think most people who watch football understand what I'm about to say, whether they agree with it or not. As the quarterback of the team, you get all the glory when they win, so you get all the blame when they lose. The only person that's going to get more blame than the quarterback is the head coach.
Right. The coach is the one that should get all the blame and all the glory.
But we all know
he's the one who's actually leading 11 people.
I understand that. But right or wrong, a lot of people look at quarterbacks that way. That's how come the star quarterback is, a cliche in every fucking teen movie. She's dating the star quarterback, She's not dating the star middle linebacker, even though he fucking directs the defense on the field and calls audibles,
Hey, wait a minute now, because in your beloved Tampa Bay, it was all about the defense. It was Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp.
Speaking of, Rich, are you slathered in red and black body paint after last week?
No.
Oh my good hell! What the fuckins?
No, because it's like watching a Detroit Tigers game. Verlander goes out. He gives up 2 runs. He goes 9 innings, 130 pitches, and 3 hits, 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 walk or something like that, and they score 1 run. And then the next game, the pitcher goes out, gives up 5 runs in 5 innings, and they score 15 runs in run support for him. I don't care about all those sacks. Why don't you spread that shit out? Save that shit for some other teams. Try to get more than just one impressive win a season, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm happy they won, but let me see it do it consistently.
I'll put this out there. The whole Legion of Boom not on the field for the first time in quite a while, possibly ever, for that game.
What the hell was that about? Seriously.
But anyways, just to wrap up the Matt Stafford thing, I really think, honestly, here's my problem. If they make the playoffs, I don't care how they get in there. They have to win a playoff game. I don't care what anybody says at this point. This is a fucking mental block for this fucking team. This is the culture of the Detroit Lions. 1 playoff win in 60 years. That is in the back of every fucking player's mind. And if you don't think that plays on players' minds, talk to players like, I don't know, Ernie Banks. Talk to players like Carl Yastrzemski, who played some of the best players to ever lace up, but played for teams that had that in the back of their head, and they fucked themselves and tripped over their own feet for so many years.
Thurman Thomas.
I'm just saying, if he leads them, because I think Stafford, deservedly or not, has a lot more confidence than people in Detroit give him credit for. I think he is a confident quarterback. I think he goes out there and he thinks he can win every game he plays. I don't think he's the type of football player who looks at the schedule and goes, well, that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win, that's a loss. He goes, no, these are all wins until we don't win the game. And then we have to play better. I think he's that type of, it's just my opinion, that type of player.
Well, his performance has backed you up. You know, he does it 1 week with 1 minute and 6 seconds. He does it another week with 25 seconds. I got to kind of buy into it. And, I mean,
but the Dallas Cowboys aren't going to give you that chance. The New England Patriots aren't going to give you that chance.
You got to stop there, because the Dallas Cowboys weren't even a talk that you and I are having when Romo and everybody else was their quarterback.
No, I'm talking this season. I'm talking about this season. If you get to the playoffs this year.
But I'm talking about elite quarterbacks, okay? When you come to the talk of is it the system or the person, obviously in Dallas it's the person. And it's two people, Zeke and Dak. Now, I've proven to you in places like the Patriots, it's not Tom Brady, okay? It's not Gronk. It is the system. Because without draft picks, without Tom, without Gronk, they still were winning. So it's not just them, okay? Now, here in Detroit, it's not just Megatron, as Rich has said. He's gone. And Stafford's still getting his stats, still making his throws, still carrying the team to victory with however many seconds left on the clock. To me, that's elite. Playoff or not. That's 11 people that have to be responsible the entire season. Playoffs included. And if they're not going to win. If they are, they're going to win. However, that does not take away from the fact that Matthew Stafford has, in my opinion, reached an elite status because of his will and his play.
No way. Beat good teams. Beat the Patriots. That's the other thing too, though.
He has beat good teams.
Who did we beat this year? That's worth the shit. Now that's in week 13. Who have we beat this year?
Philadelphia.
Do you look at their record? They have a losing record right now.
Who cares? They're at the top of their division.
Oh, really?
They used to be.
Really? We're doing this. They have a losing record right now.
No, they're at the bottom of their division. Just so you know.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to go through Lions' schedule? And
what about the Vikings?
We caught them after they've been deep. We caught them on a downslide. What if they lost like 5 out of the last 6 weeks?
Chris, you're becoming the Iceman. You're moving the goalposts, fucker.
No, I'm asking you questions. I'm saying, tell me who the Lions have beat this year that's any good now.
The best team they've beat as far as their standings is the Texans. And the Texans are 6-5. They're tied with the Titans.
The best team they've beaten this year is one game over 500. Now you have the Giants coming up. You have the fucking Cowboys coming up.
Stop. We beat the Texans.
No. They didn't. Excuse me. They didn't beat the Texans. They lost to the Texans. Excuse me.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Correct.
You said who? You said who have we played? That's what I meant. Who have we played? I misspoke. My bad.
What about the Redskins? You like that? Come on.
Yeah, a team who is barely over 500 again.
Dude, 90% of the league is barely over 500.
Like, we're supposed to be impressed that you beat the team that backed into the playoffs last year at 7-9?
Oh, come on, Chris, stop. 90% of the league is barely over 500. It's a competitive league this year. And Lions are on top of their division because of Matthew Stafford. You got to quit at some point.
The Giants aren't going to give you that last-second chance. The Cowboys aren't going to give you that last-second chance. The Saints, everyone thinks this Sunday's in the bag. No, it's fucking not. If you've been watching how Drew Brees has been playing for the last month, you should be very fucking scared about Sunday and our lack of a secondary.
They've still only won one road game this year. They lost. They lost to the Bears.
Elite quarterbacks win on the road.
All right, man. I can't bow to this one. I have to stand on this one. 90% of the league is barely over 500, so you can't say who did you beat. We beat who we beat.
No, I got you, and you are the resident homer on the show. If this,
but we were talking about being a homer, though.
If we were talking about any other team, you'd be agreeing with Chris. Come on, man.
No, I'm telling you, you got the Pats, And the Cowboys, 11-1 and 9-2. The Raiders are 9-2.
The Giants are 8-3.
8-3. Don't look now. Kansas City is fucking 8-3.
Right, you got 4 out of 32 teams, dog. That's 90%.
What I'm saying is that of those 4 teams we just named, they got to play 2 of those on the road the last 2 weeks.
All right, so we're going to test our strength.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't think it's going to go as well as you think it is.
I don't think it's going to go as bad as you think it is.
Hey, look, I'm not all on board with Chris, but I'm not all on board with you. To me, one game at a time, and this road game in New Orleans is going to tell us a lot about this Lions team.
Oh, 100%. But if we're talking about the Lions team, 100% correct. If we're talking about Matthew Stafford, he's shown who he is. He has defined who he is this season.
Yeah, because a quarterback who can't win on the road or in the playoffs. You're absolutely right.
He doesn't have a number 1 receiver. He doesn't have a star standout player that he's using to pad his stats, but yet he's still making them. He's still leading the team to victory with under a minute. I'm sorry. To me, that's elite. To go out there with a whole bunch of fucking weapons and a whole bunch of money that your owner spent to pad your fucking team so that you're able to win the playoff games and make the championships, that to me is not a fucking elite quarterback. That to me is being catered to.
Having a good season does not make you an elite quarterback.
Are you
just a good season? Having one good season does not make you an elite quarterback. Having 2, if you could argue that Stafford's had 3 good seasons because we went to the playoffs twice, and it looks like we may go this year.
How far back are you going to move this goalpost, Iceman? I'm just wondering.
Well, we're talking about Matt Stafford, right? I'm still talking about Matt Stafford.
Okay, and I'm telling you that as a quarterback, he has shown who he is, and he is an elite quarterback.
No, what is your basis for elite?
Because he does the job, man. Just because
am I elite?
The other side of the ball can't stop the fucking people from scoring.
So are you elite at work because you just show up and do your job?
I'm definitely not the employee of the year. But
elite.
I'm not an employee of the year, but I'm not the first one to be let go when shit gets slow.
You become elite when you go above and beyond, man. He has not gone above and beyond. At this point,
how
he's
much
just living.
Above and beyond do you want him to go?
Win in the playoffs.
Oh my God, dude. 11 fucking people, 22 total, that have to combine to make that happen.
Get us beyond
That's not the one-person deal.
Get us beyond being the St. Louis Blues of the NFL, where we're just first-round fodder when we do make the playoffs.
22 people, 23 including the head coach, have to make that happen. You can't pin that on one guy.
Okay, well, hold on a sec. Let's change gears for a second.
And I'll say the same thing to you with the win. He didn't win it all by himself either, if we want to use that logic.
I 100% agree with you. 100%.
Okay, so
10 other guys helping you out don't make you elite.
So let's talk about someone who I would hope we would all agree, if not elite, is at the top of the heap as far as current tight ends playing right now. An interesting stat just come out of this game that happened tonight. Jason Witten just had his first catchless game since November 2nd, 2008.
Damn.
Okay, to give you an idea, 2008, that the last game he had that he went catchless, Terrell Owens, Marion Barber, Brad Johnson, and Roy Williams were on the Cowboys. Plaxico Burress, Amani Toomer, Sonoris Rice, and Brandon Jacobs were on the Giants.
Dear God.
Okay, say what you want. That motherfucker has, I think, quietly put together a Hall of Fame career. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's not like Gronk as far as outgoing extrovert personality. He doesn't have that Kellen Winslow Sr. moment where he had to be carried off the field with heat exhaustion after whatever. He's just been steady for the better part of a decade in a game that chews up people and spits them out. So,
and I totally agree with you. Jason Witten is definitely a Hall of Famer. In my mind, he is in the exact same category as Matt Stafford.
Well,
doing what he's told to do, what he has to do with what he has on his team. Jason Witten has lost a lot of great players. You named a couple, throughout the years, but yet has maintained his stability, maintained his health, got out there, did the job.
I know that he's not ignored as far as the national media goes, but I just think he's one of those guys that he's so good at what he does that he gets lost in the shuffle for whatever reason. Maybe because tight end isn't a flashy. It's getting to be, but it's historically not been a flashy position to play.
He's so good at what he does, and he's so consistent at what he does, that there's nothing that surprises anybody to make a headline about, okay? It's a headline that he's catchless since 2008. We could say that. But stuff like Romo being replaced by Dak, that's going to make headlines. The performance that Dak Prescott is making is total what the fuckins. Followed up by his running back, Zeke. Are you kidding me?
He's definitely overshadowed.
Tell these two that these rookies aren't supposed to be this good this early in their career. But Jason Witten is even keel. He does what he does. He does it to the best of his ability and to the best of his position. Okay? There's no headlines there. Everybody knows that he does that. They've talked about Jason Witten for years. There's nothing left to say because he hasn't done nothing else. He doesn't do anything different. He goes out there and makes his plays and walks out the field. Job well done. Yeah, he didn't make any catches, but he made one hell of a block so Zeke could get about 60 yards downfield. I watched it.
See, now that's what I'm saying, though. That's to me, that's old school tight end. Because you got tight ends that are
100%.
That are in the league now to do one thing, and that's to catch the ball. They want to match up against a smaller linebacker on their tight end, and they're going to throw it up, and they hope the tight end comes down with it. Blocking is almost a lost art with tight ends these days. Wide receivers, well, I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, Michael Irvin, as he said, I get paid to catch balls, not block. And so he'd take plays off if the ball wasn't coming to him. He wasn't even shy about it. Come on now. And on top of that, how many teams have just phased out? We've talked about it before also. The fullback position and just, okay, if we're going to run an I formation, throw a tight end in there and have him block. But I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, that tight end is not going to be on the field if they're fucking looking to target him with a catch.
Well, depending on
blocking tight end.
Depending on the distance, people have brought in fucking defensive linemen as blockers.
That's true also.
Not a bad idea, but at the same time, get a fullback. Seriously?
Well, a lot of that is because of the way the college game is. You run a spread offense. You run a single back offense. I mean, they're not being groomed like they were back in the day when the Big Ten was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and they were the elite conference.
I'm gonna interject with this because I want to get it on air, and I just want to say it. Colin Kaepernick, you are what I thought you were. You're a fucking hypocrite. You guys can argue about it all night. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Okay.
Expound on that. How's he a hypocrite?
Because you can't sit there and take a knee and make all this fuss and muss about oppression and oppression of black people and all this, and then support somebody like the dictator of Cuba and say how
he should have
was. You can't do it.
He should have checked himself a history book before he threw that T-shirt on. I hear you there. A little bit of mixed message going on with Colin Kaepernick.
Did you hear the interview? He said these words, and I kid you not, I'm not making this shit up. He said that Fidel Castro had good ideas. He believed in some of the things that Castro. I was like, oh my!
So did Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, and Mussolini. But when you put them on paper, they didn't work.
You are what I thought you were. You're a fucking hypocrite. Now sit there and take your knee. Have a nice life. That's all I want to say about him. Dumbass.
What's funny is if he would have lived in Cuba and under a communist government, he'd be pissed because they'd be taking most of his money. Because the basis of all those economies is we all pull it together, everybody shares. He'd be super pissed off and moving if he lived in Cuba under the regime of Castro.
With that interview and that T-shirt and the things he said, he made everything he did with the knee and all this stuff, the support and the $1 million and all that, he made all of that shit irrelevant because he's a fucking hypocrite.
Earl, I'll I'm going to agree with you on that because you're definitely you don't know your history. When you wear shirts with those guys on them, you're making a bold statement, and with the message that he's been trying to send with his protest, definitely got into the area of mixed messages when you're wearing a T-shirt with those two guys on it. I will give you that one.
Chris, I want you to go look at the interview and listen to what he says about, and he praises Fidel Castro. Okay, it wasn't just a T-shirt. I wear T-shirts all the time. I wear, like, the Viking Randy Moss jersey. I loved Randy Moss. He was a freak. But that doesn't mean I don't love the Lions. I fucking am a homer. Everybody that listens to the show knows it. However, my words have never been, well, the Vikings are better than the Lions, because I'm not going to say that. He went out there and praised Fidel Castro and the efforts that he was doing. That, not a T-shirt, but those words are like, are you kidding me? You can't take a knee and try to raise awareness and be a protester for black lives and the oppression of people and then support a dictator and tell me how good he was. You can't do that.
I agree. With you there.
You know whose voice I heard that in.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever I say those two words now, that's all I hear is that.
I know. Just to play devil's advocate, not like I disagree with either of you guys, but did we lose? God damn it, Chris. Learn to hit the right button.
It's all about the button, baby.
Yeah.
Not that I'm disagreeing with you guys at all. I'm just throwing it out there just to be, I guess, devil's advocate. It really, not defending Castro whatsoever. Couldn't name you anything that I would consider he did that I know of that I would consider good. But I am going to say a lot of times in history, who you consider a hero and who you consider a villain depends on what history book you read. Because if you go to England, they don't look at our founding fathers as anything but terrorists.
I agree. I have a BA in history from a very accredited college. Okay. And my teachers, my professors, right. My professors were realists. They didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. They didn't tell you what the history book said. They told you what was. Okay? And the only thing that I can even begin to tell you about Castro, we could talk about his oppression and his body count. We could do all that. Just know, okay, that we have a missile defense system in this country because of Fidel Castro.
Well, all I'm going to say is, to me, the worst type of history teacher I ever had was a history teacher who also thought that he was a philosophy teacher. If I'm learning history, I just want the facts. I don't want your opinion on the facts.
Yeah, I don't care about your bend on history. Tell me the history. I'll put my bend on it. Thank you.
And what I'm getting at with what books you read is, I don't know. I haven't been inside of a classroom in 16 years, but judging by the products being turned out by the public school system and by colleges, obviously these aren't the same books that I was reading when I was in school. So
yeah, Rich, I can tell you that was part of my disenchantment with going to college. I lasted one semester at Western Michigan University. One of the first, major part of it was most of the people that went there were fucking assholes. But second, my first impression of the college experience, and I had 2 out of my 5 classes that I didn't go to. It's my fault. But it was because I felt like I was paying to hear the teacher's opinion on the subject and not the subject.
And see, my professors, when I hit college, were completely different. They told you what was. They didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. They didn't tell you what left, right thought happened. They told you what happened. And they let you make your choices. When I went to be a teacher, a high school history teacher, okay, I tried to instill that upon my students, and I tried to call to their critical thinking skills and their problem-solving skills. I was told by the board, by my bosses, I was not allowed to do that. Okay, for my final exams, I told my students this: you cannot be wrong. The only way to pass this, only way to fail this, is to not do what I ask you to do. My final exam was this: tell me, using dates, examples, and in events, who was the worst person in Nazi Germany during World War II. Now, I had spent the entire semester talking about Germany in World War II.
In fact, the class was called The History of World War II.
No, it wasn't.
I know.
But I had
failed joke.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Germans?
Yeah.
He's on a roll. Let him go.
But I gave them every resource under the sun. I gave them every example to use, any date they wanted to use, any person they wanted to use. The board came to me and told me this.
There's like a picture of Hitler behind you. You know.
This is not how this is going to be run in this school system. We want you to teach Adolf Hitler, bad person, move on. I couldn't teach them history. I had to teach them their version. Hitler was bad. It happened. We won. The end.
So you weren't allowed to get into Stalin, Mussolini, Tojo?
I couldn't get anywhere. When I talked about World War II in Nazi Germany, Hitler was the bad guy. We were the good guys. We helped the British. We win.
So you didn't even get into Axis and Allies?
I got into the Axis and Allies, the two teams that fought the Super Bowl. Yeah, that I got that. But after that, that's it. Hitler was bad. We're good. We won. Good always prevails.
Yeah.
Wow. We're fucked.
This isn't a movie where the history teacher can get up there in the inner city and teach dialectics. You know.
You turn the chair backwards. It means you're going to get real.
At the end of the day, and it's just small, Hitler only killed one person, himself. That's it. Who did he kill? Who did he kill? I don't talk about orders. I'm not spinning left to right. And
I get what you're saying. Gotcha.
Physically
picked up a gun, shot himself. That's it. Trust me when I tell you. This is the same argument I've heard people.
I understand where you're coming from, but it's the same thing I've heard people say. Why is Charles Manson in jail for the rest of his life? He never killed anyone. He just told people on acid to go kill somebody.
I'm not saying that Hitler's a bad guy and that his philosophies and his ideals were terrible. I'm not saying that that's not true. That's true. But I want to talk to you about Rudolf Hirsch, the commandant of Auschwitz, who found a better way to kill millions of Jews.
But took his orders from Hitler?
No. He found better. The order was to disperse the Jews. Get them out. And it became such a hassle to transport Jews out that they just became killing them in death camps. And at first, they put them in a morgue, back a truck up to it, put the exhaust pipe hose under there, and let them, suffocate from monoxide poisoning.
But I'm so
glad you finally got to put. I'm so glad you finally got to put your degree in history to use on a sports podcast. I'm so glad that it's finally. You were sitting in class out there at Oakland University going, one day I'm going to be on a podcast talking about this.
And then he saw Colin Kaepernick wearing that T-shirt. He's like, this is going to be my fucking opening.
It's not what it should be. That's all I'm saying. Rudolf Hirsch invented the gas chamber. Zyklon B was the gas that they used to speed up the death of the Jews so that morally it didn't affect the soldiers to hear them screaming and pounding on the door.
Yeah, but Earl, I'll play devil's advocate on this one, with your boy Hitler. Allowing something and not stopping it is just as bad as ordering it.
Now you're talking about a Joe Paterno type thing. And I agree with you full-heartedly. But I'm not going to look at Joe Paterno and go, you fucking child molester. I'm going to go to him and go, the fuck were you thinking? How could you not stop that? Now I'm going to go to Jerry Sandusky and go, okay, you need to have your balls removed and shoved right up your ass. That's what I'm telling you. Jerry Sandusky, way worse than Joe Paterno.
I think we're getting into the realm here of you're saying Hitler wasn't that bad, so we're going to move on to the picks.
No, hell no. I am not saying that he wasn't that bad. I'm saying he wasn't the worst. There were people that were just horrible.
When you send your hate mail, address it to Earl Iceman. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to create an email address specifically for your hate mail. Earl at sports or what? I don't know.
In the world with people that are uneducated, I'm sure I will get a lot.
No, I hear you, because I had another incident on Facebook today with running into uneducated people. It was one of my cousins or something. It was just a generic photo of Obama smiling and signing something, and signing a piece of paper, and it was from one of these crazy left-wing Facebook pages, and they posted President Obama signing into law that the president now has to pay taxes. And all these people were commenting on it. Oh, hey, good job. Great. And people were, and I'm sitting there like, did we fall asleep collectively as a country during government class senior year? The president has always been a taxpayer. Oh, sorry. That's just something I ran into today.
And
it was so erroneous. I was like, what the fuck?
As I found out on Facebook, between Chris and my cousin, Chris has issues with the church.
Yeah, that's another conversation. But the picks.
You know what I found out on Facebook? This was great. If the winter, your car is kind of sluggish, pour sugar in your gas tank.
Oh, that shit works. I got to do
it. Yeah, it helps. It helps to keep your car running smooth for some reason in the winter. So
I'm going to do that. If it's on Facebook, it's true.
I'm going to stock up on sugar. I'm going to pour a bag in there every day to make sure my car runs extra good.
And make sure to check your headlight fluid too.
So before the picks, Colin, you fucking hypocrite. Tiger, welcome back. All right.
What, you bring in golf? Didn't you publicly denounce golf like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, but Tiger Woods is back. It's popular again.
Oh, okay. All right. So the picks. All right. There's been some movement. I am no longer in third place. But, Rich, you are not in third place. We are tied. We're both at 550.
Yeah, Earl, I'm still in last.
Iceman, you're still at the top of the heat. For some unknown reason, you're good at picking football games. So
I kind of got an understanding of the game. Sorry.
Yeah. So
this is going to go down. Is Rich is going to pick, and then you know what? Chris, you're going to pick. Rich will pick, and then I'll tell you who wins.
Ooh, all right. We did pick. Like I said, to be transparent, it is Thursday night on the East Coast. It's past midnight now. On the West Coast where I am, it's almost 10 o'clock. We did pick Dallas, Minnesota before the game started. We wanted to keep the picks on the up and up because, we want to make sure we keep the integrity of a competition where we win nothing. But, so we all picked Dallas. Game's over. We're already one in going to the picks here. So, next up, we have...
Damn ya.
Hey, you knew what you were doing, all right? You knew that chick was 300 pounds. Hey, you knew she was 300 pounds when you took her home. Don't yell at us. All right?
I thought the cheeks were tight. I thought they were tight.
Yeah. All right, so first up on the docket, Lions in New Orleans. I'm going with the Saints, guys. I'm sorry. I've picked the Lions the last couple of weeks, and it's worked out for me, but with our secondary and the way Drew Brees, like I said, last week, he was passing out touchdowns like Oprah Winfrey. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Except for Brandon Cooks. I think Brandon Cooks pissed off Drew Brees somewhere. But I'm picking the Saints, guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got the Saints. We've covered this ad nauseum already as far as Lions and their road schedule, blah blah blah, and all that good shit, wins and losses. So there's no need to go into it.
And like I said, they'll pick, and then I'll tell you who wins. The Lions. The Lions win this because Drew Brees looked like an all-star and an elite quarterback last week. What Chris failed to mention is he played the Rams. I mean, come on. Yeah, everybody, including Cleveland, if they ever played him, would beat him. Stop it.
Yeah, but the Rams are actually decent against the pass. And he fucking just carved him up last week. We are not that great against the pass.
Okay, as we've talked about, it's time for the Lions to stand up and be counted. All right, they got to start winning on the road. They got to start doing big games. The rest of the schedule's hard. If you're going to be a contender, then damn it, be a contender. Don't sit at the top of the division and say, ha-ha! No, bitch. keep going. And I think they do. I think they got a good, more you know, they got a good sense about them. They got a team effort, and I think they pull it out.
All right. Well, hey, you know, I hope you're right, because it'd be nice to see them win in New Orleans. But,
no, this honestly feels like a legit pick, not just I'm picking the Lions, because I'm always going to pick the Lions. So
we will see. Time will tell us, sir. Next up, the Panthers heading into the 12th man, Seahawks. Seahawks coming off that lackluster loss to your Bucks, Rich. I got to go with the home team here. It's over in Carolina. You could try again next season. You know, at this point, if you're Ron Rivera, I think the best you can hope is 500. I'm going with the Seahawks. Get the Legion of Boom back together, too. So they got that going for them as well.
Yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks also. I think that Cam Newton is learning to enjoy eating some humble pie without whipped cream on it this year. Richard Sherman had a couple of nice words for him on Twitter about karma coming back around after Cam Newton ripped up or stepped on, or I can't remember what he did, their 12th man flag.
Yes.
After the playoff win last year. So Seahawks seem like a team, especially that defense, seems like a defense that loves to have a chip on its shoulder, loves to have an excuse to go out there and hurt people. And Panthers just don't have it this year. So Seahawks.
Once again, I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to go Panthers. Yeah, the Seahawks have a defense. They have an okay offense. It's not the offense of yesteryears. But Cam Newton still has a lot to prove. He still has a huge chip on his shoulder. Panthers are heavily plagued by injury. Star middle linebacker out. You know, Michael Orr's out. Great offensive tackle. But I think they do it. I think they do come out and prove that they're not going far. They're not going far at all. But I think the Panthers can answer the call to the 12th man this week.
Okay, well.
Quick question. If they do win, do you think Cam's going to be doing any dancing in the 12th man flag this time?
Oh, I'll guarantee you that Cam will score at least one touchdown. You can bank on this. Bet on it if you like. Cam Newton will score at least one touchdown and do the Superman pose and the dap. I guarantee it.
No,
right there.
I'm talking about grabbing a 12th man flag out of a fan's hands like he did last season.
No, I don't think he grabs the flag. I think he does the dance and the Superman pose and the dap.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna write our pick in across the board for this, but I'll ask you guys anyway. The Rams at the Patriots.
Pats.
Now, see, St. Louis. Fuck no, Pats. Are you kidding me? It's not even. That's nobody's going to show up to that game. Nobody's going to turn that game on TV. And I don't even think anybody's aware they're playing.
All right. Next up, Redskins at the Cardinals. Now, this one's tricky because Arizona, I'm putting them in the category this year with Baltimore as their defense is killing it and they're getting no love. However, their offense is lackluster. I think this is going to be regardless of what the records look like, I think this is going to, if the Redskins win this one, it's going to help legitimize them a little bit more. I'm going with No, I'm going to go with Arizona. Just call it just for some reason, my guts just tell me to pick the Cardinals on this one. It's for no other reason.
Well, I mean, Redskins, obviously, they're flip sides. Their records are exact opposites of each other. Skins 6-4, Cardinals 4-6, both with a tie. I'm going by what I usually go by in situations like this. And I think the game could go either way. Going by the defense, and I think the Cardinals got the better defense. So give me the Cardinals.
See, and this is why I picked last. I got to go Redskins. I don't know who Crowder is. I don't know. But I tell you who knows who Crowder is, and that's Kirk Cousins. And he's found
Deshaun Jackson. He's like, hey, that's the guy who took my job.
Right? And I don't know. A lot of these picks from here out are total what the fuckins to me. because you can flip a coin and you're going to be right, 50% of the time. These are going to be killer the rest of this week.
I'd just like to point out that we are all above 500 in our picks. No matter what spot we're in, 1, 2, or 3, we're all above 500.
Mm-hmm.
There are professionals that don't pick as well as we have. Just want to point that out.
And I'm better than everybody, so I'm going to point that out too. Anyways, like I was saying, it's a whole bucket of what the fuckins, and I just think that the Redskins are going to try to make a run. Cardinals have lost all. I have lost all faith in the Cardinals. You have every aspect of a team that you need, and you're not making it happen. How in the hell does that team go 4-6? How? Have no idea. They have no answer. So, Redskins.
All right, next up, looking down the schedule, to me, this is going to be one of the harder games to pick this week. Chiefs at the Falcons. I mean, Chiefs coming off that Monday night win.
See what I mean?
Yeah, Falcons, they've been getting it done this year.
And let's not forget the Chiefs, what the fuck, on the Tampa Bay game. Yeah,
and the Chiefs, obviously, the Chiefs are banged up, and they still got it done against Denver. I'm calling the Chiefs on this one. Because Atlanta's been getting... Last year, Atlanta got it done more through the run. This year, they're getting it done more through the air. And fucking Justin Houston, he's fucking nasty, man. So I'm calling the Chiefs on this one.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and go Chiefs, too. I honestly think whoever comes out of the NFC South is just first-round fodder, or fodder for a better team, is what I meant to say. I don't think any team in the South's really that good. And Chiefs, they're quietly having, more quiet than if they weren't in the same division as the Raiders and the Broncos. I think there'd be a lot more national talk about it. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs.
I can't. I love Kansas City Chiefs and, live there for a while and all that good stuff. They do good things. They do. And they have a good team. I just think Matty Ice is going to have a better game. He's shown flashes in the pan. And I don't know. He has the tools to do it, so I got to go Dirty Birds.
Okay, well, this next one is another one I'm going to classify as one I'm going to write in, but I'm going to ask you because it's courtesy and we have a format. We have the Broncos at the Jaguars. I'm going with Denver.
Yeah, Denver. Same here.
There will come a time when the Jaguars get a hell of a coach to coach that hell of a team that they have. This is not that time, and this definitely ain't that coach. Broncos.
You're going to get deep pantsed at home, Jaguars. Just saying.
Oh, there are some picks coming up that I just can't make.
This might be one of them. Texans at the Packers. Heading to Lambeau.
This is one of those picks.
I'm going with Green Bay simply based on momentum, and they're at home. Quite honestly. After a couple bad losses, they got themselves a decent win. They're the ones who played Monday, right? I forgot. The night games, they blend together for me. But either way, Green Bay's coming off a win. Texans, we were talking earlier about teams we're not buying this year. I'm not buying the Texans. I'm going with the Pack.
This is literally, I could flip a coin. I know I'm gonna regret doing this, and my mindset is I'm going with the defense, so I'm gonna pick the Texans. But then, if you look at points put up, the Texans haven't even broke 200 this season. That's bad. The Browns have scored more points than that, but their defense has been better than Green Bay's. So give me the Texans.
Well, I'm finally not alone. It hurts. I have high hopes that the Texans would do the job, but unfortunately, Rodgers has stopped relaxing. He has found his groove with his receivers, who are now catching. As he's proved in the Super Bowls, once he finds that groove, ain't no defense going to stop it. And that's unfortunate for my Lions because he's crawling out of the cellar. Unfortunately, this week I got to pick the Packers.
All right. Next up, Eagles at the Bengals.
Oh dear God.
I'm going. You know what? I'm gonna kind of piggyback on what Rich just did with his pick here. Eagles got a way better defense than the Bengals this year. That's been kind of the bright spot on the Eagles this year is the defense, so I'll go with Philly.
Okay, and I forgot to bring this up before the pick, so I'll bring it up now. Oh, shit. Just had a brain fart. Bengals head coach, Marvin Lewis. Is he the modern-day Wayne Fonts or what?
No, he can't get fired for mediocrity?
And he can't win a playoff game. I mean, and he's been there forever. It's just like he's... it's Marvin Lewis.
He's won a playoff game. Perfect. And Pac-Man Jones cost him a trip to the Super Bowl. Don't you remember that? Against Pittsburgh?
Oh, yeah, won that last... Yeah.
That was 2005, wasn't it?
Oh, God, no.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, that was when Pittsburgh went to the Super Bowl in 2005 when they had to put in Kitna because what's his face got hurt, and Joey Porter was like, "I know you don't think you're going to win with Kitna. I was getting ready to feel sorry for you that our one of our linemen rolled up on your quarterback's knee, but now you're going to say we cheated? Fuck you, man." That was the big Joey Porter moment, as far as I remember. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just pointing out. Just talk about just treading water in the middle of the pack, Marvin Lewis. But anyways, oh God.
No, it was I'm talking about the one on Antonio Brown.
Yeah, that was last year, wasn't it? It was last year or 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
But
all right, so
back to the pace.
Yeah, I know I'm getting lost in. Give me give me the Eagles.
No AJ, no win. It's kind of like no woman, no cry, but different. Eagles.
It's the Iceman remix. No AJ, no win. All right. Next up, Dolphins at the Ravens. You have a good defense versus a lackluster defense, and a good offense versus a lackluster offense. This is a flip a coin one.
See? What the fucking? It's going to catch on.
But you know what? I will go with, I think that the Ravens defense is better than Ryan Tannehill as a quarterback. I'm going Ravens.
Give me the Ravens also.
Oh yeah, we're all locked up because I'm going Ravens. Hell no, I ain't going to pick the Dolphins. This was the easier one of the week.
Here you go. Here you go, kids.
No.
The toilet bowl.
No.
It even has the toilet seat in it for you.
No.
The 49ers are at the Bears.
I can't. I just can't right now. I plead the fifth.
Okay, so I know who to write in for you. All right. You can say not the 49ers.
It's the way he's had to pick the Bears before.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
I just can't. I can't even.
I got to go with the fact that in fantasy football right now, Colin Kaepernick's the guy to pick up this week as far as quarterbacks. And two, I mean, the Niners at least have their starting quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Niners.
Yeah, same here. And I mean, it's not a confident pick. It's just I have to pick one of them.
I really can't. I can't. I can't flip a coin. I can't. Can I get a tie? Can I get a million?
Put them down for a tie. Yeah, there's been what? 3 of them this year so far? 2?
Can I get a mulligan on this pick? I'm just asking because they suck.
All right, I'll write down tie.
No, shit.
It's gonna go into overtime 0-0.
I know, right?
I just really can't. Give me the Niners based on what the fuckins. I don't know. I can't.
All right, next up, Bills, Raiders. I think you don't count out this Buffalo defense. And I think that's really kind of been, I told you, I think the Raiders are for real, but I think what's going to hold them back in the playoffs is their defense. That being said, the Bills got a shitty offense, so I'm going to go with the Raiders. Because Sammy Watkins will probably be back on the injured. He'll probably be back on the bench before the fucking year's over. So, yeah, give me the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I just don't think Bills and Rex and Dare have got it this week.
This is a hard pick for the opposite reason than just the last game. Bills are trying to prove something, and the Raiders are pissed that nobody's talking about them. I can see Derek Carr in the field right now going, Keep talking about Dallas, bitches. Keep talking about the Chiefs. Keep talking about everybody else but us. I'm going to go with the Raiders. They are out to prove something, and they're proving it in spades.
Oh, don't forget, people are, certain talking heads are talking about them. They're disrespecting them, saying they're a first-round exit.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and they're going to, at least during the regular season right now, they're going to prove them wrong.
Okay, so see, now to me, this is a hard game to pick coming up here. Giants and the Steelers. I don't know about you guys, but I think the Steelers are better than their record. Yes? No?
Absolutely. I told you the other week with the coach, where are you, Mike Tomlin? Get your shit together.
No, but I mean, as far as what the product I've seen on the field, I think the Steelers are better than their record indicates that they are this year. I mean, you had Antonio Brown catch 3 fucking touchdown passes on Thanksgiving. You got Le'Veon Bell's just been a goddamn, if he can put down the weed and put a whole season together, he might get himself a rushing title one of these seasons. And the Giants are 8-3.
They struggled against Cleveland, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and just, I think also, too, Pittsburgh the last few years has turned it on when they've needed to turn it on to get themselves into playoffs. I think they've been doing that the last month. I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh also. I'm breaking my golden rule. But I mean, their defense, Giants and Pittsburgh's pretty much match up as far as numbers. And I mean, just going on offense, I think the Steelers have got them. So, yeah.
What do you do, Earl?
Pennsylvania. Eli Manning is not Peyton Manning. I can't stand that little prick. His receiving core bails him out all the damn time. His defense is but I think exactly what you said, Chris. It's time to turn it on, and Mike Tomlin is definitely gathering up the troops and settling them down. And I think he coaches to the win. He's got the home field advantage, Steelers. But you're right. I can't pick Pennsylvania. I'm scared about the Bengals game. You're killing me.
All right. What a sorry. Oh, wait. I was going to call it a shitty Sunday. Oh, there is no Sunday night game. That's right. Because
the Sunday night game was Panthers and Seahawks, bro.
Why the fuck is it all the way up at the top?
That's your internet search.
No, I'm on the 4-Letter Networks app. Well, because I think I have the Seahawks set as one of my favorites. All right. Anyway, then fine. All right. Next, Buccaneers at the Chargers. You have 2 not-so-great defenses versus 2 decent offenses. I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think you got Tyrell Williams is having a career year. Rivers is playing to get traded. I think Melvin Gordon's come out of nowhere. And I think on the Bucks, you got famous Jameis and you got Mike Evans and Muscle Hamster when he's healthy. I like the Chargers offense just seems to stay healthier consistently. And they're at home. I'm going with the Chargers.
Despite what I said about earlier in the show about the Buccaneers dumping all their defense into one game, I like their defense more than I like the Chargers. I don't know. I don't see the Chargers having a whole lot to play for besides pride at this point. I mean, if I'm on the Chargers, I'm pissed off that I'm sitting at 5-6 and I'm in last place, and we're playing a team that's 6-5. And with a little luck, could actually make the playoffs and win their division. So
not even with luck, bro. Not even as a wild card.
Just saying. Looking at the record, just pure record, I'd be pissed off if I was the Chargers. So, but still, I think Tampa's got it this week.
I don't know. At first glance, it was a game that meant nothing other than a time slot. But unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, Rich is right. Bucks have a shot. It's a long shot from way the fuck over there, but it's a shot. Chargers have no chance, sitting at the bottom of their division. I don't know. And Rivers is trying to get traded. So, what do? Chargers
you never count out the team with nothing to lose.
Chargers are at home. Bucks are on a killing spree. They're on the top of the bucket of what the fuckins.
See, but that was one of my deciding factors. Chargers are at home, but the Bucks are 4-1 on the road.
Right,
and they're on a 3-game winning streak. So
I gotta go with the Bucks because every time I've picked against them, I'm sitting here going, what the fuck? So, all right, go ahead, Jameis.
All right, the Monday night game. Here we go. Well,
I gotta get these picks.
Well, this one's easy for me. It's Colts at the Jets. We're going with the Colts because fuck the Jets. They fucked me too much this year.
God damn it. Fucking Colts.
Oh, and Rich, this is a conundrum for you, too.
We all had our game.
They're going to do the opposite of what I fucking picked them to do. I can't win. Look, I'm gonna try to use numbers to rationalize this pick. Okay, maybe it'll work out for me for a change. Jets ain't even scored 200 points. They've given up over 250 points.
They have won 3 games though.
The Colts have put up 270 points, and their defense is shit because they've given up over 300 points. But they've almost 100 scored almost 100 points more than the Jets. So, and their record is better. So, by all rights, the Colts are going to win. God damn it!
Never helps sleep at night, Rich.
Pour one out for my pick. R.I.P. Rich's pick for the Colts.
So you're picking the Colts?
Yeah, sure.
He said it 4 times. He didn't want salmon.
We're all going down with you because I'm picking the Colts too. The Jets are a team of what the fucking seriously.
You guys are aware of my record when I picked the Colts to do anything, right? I'm just saying.
I gotta think the Colts can put together something that's better than what the Jets have to offer. It's just terrible at this point.
If I was a Colts fan who listened to this podcast, I would have bribed me to pick against the Colts ever since I figured out they're going to do the opposite of what they say they're going to do. I've been like, just pick whatever team they play. I don't care if they play the Browns 16 weeks in a row. Pick the Browns.
All right. So, well, it's crazy to think that in a couple weeks we're going to be talking about not in studio, just don't have Jim Mora. About the playoffs. Who's going to be in? Who's going to be out? We've had a taste of it the last 5 years here. It's nice to watch a January football game in Michigan that you're involved in, and you're from Detroit. But we've just as Lions fans, we know we've been here before. At 7-5, we're getting greedy if we're talking about going to the playoffs. I mean, they could go 0-5 from here on out. We're all aware of this, right?
Oh yeah.
Or 0-4. My bad. I'm counting weeks, not games. But yeah,
if they lose to Chicago, I swear to God, that's it. I will never again ever. Don't come at me with even off blue Kool-Aid. All right, that's. I mean, because it's just no matter what, they should end up with 8 wins this season.
Agreed.
Yeah, you can fuck around and go 500 at this point, but this is the Detroit Lions. I hate to be Mr. Gloom and Doom, but I mean, this is the team that went 7-1 and then 0-8.
Chris, you said 2016 is the year of the Lion.
Oh, I know, but
stop it.
But then I looked at the schedule.
Stop it.
I looked at the remainder of the schedule and went, oof. We do not have the easiest month ahead of us.
So it's time to prove yourself. Stand up and be counted. Give them a chance. This post Megatron, This is Caldwell calling the team together, making a run at it. Give him a shot.
Hey, man, I'm from Detroit. I'm always going to be rooting for him on Sunday, but I'm a realist,
and
Chris,
man. All right, well, then be a realist. The team that we're going to be playing have already made their playoff run. They're in. They're not going to play as hard. They're not going to play their starters all the time. We got a chance.
You're like fucking Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. You're damn right. Let them stand up and get counted. They'll be put in their place, and wherever that is, at the top, bottom, or in the middle, they'll be there.
Next thing you know, Chris, he's going to be complimenting you on your big gulp.
Yeah, no,
it's a very nice cup. I'm just saying.
We landed on the moon. Do we want to pick the college game? Hey, why not? There's one left, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Hold on.
Wait a minute. Wow.
Yeah, no.
This is how pissed I am at college football for the last week. Is the Big Ten championship game this week?
Yeah. No, there is no fucking.
And can
Wisconsin,
just
Penn
because
State.
this has become the college portion of our show, I just want to say, can we say that the Notre Dame coach is now fucking gone? Are you kidding me? Did you guys follow that story?
Can we talk about the bigger issue? And it has to be quick because I don't have much battery left. How come Ohio State is in the college football playoff ranking, but they're not playing for the Big Ten title? How's that work?
And how are they in there over Penn State? Who beat them?
Because college football is proven, no matter what system they come up with for the national championship, they need to expand the playoffs. You have 5 power conferences.
4 spots.
Exactly. Expand it to either 6 games or 6 teams or 8 teams, and give 2 teams a bye. Something. I don't know. Come up with something. The BCS was bullshit. The AP and coaches polls were bullshit.
The eyeball test is terrible.
You have Condoleezza Rice on the selection committee for the fucking
Condoleezza Rice.
Okay, on the selection committee for the playoffs. Come on, people. I mean,
look at this. Clemson's playing for their division. Alabama's playing for their division. Washington's playing for theirs. Ohio State, taking a bye week. Fuck is that? How does that work?
Isn't it Penn State and Michigan in the Big Ten?
No, it's Penn State and Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How does that even work? But look at the SEC championship game. Alabama's playing Florida. Alabama's ranked 1. Florida's ranked 15. Alabama's record's 12-0. Florida's record's 8-3.
It's a clusterfuck, gentlemen. This is how come I have such a hard time defending college football this time of year.
The MAC championship. Western Michigan's playing Ohio. Western Michigan's 12-0. Ohio's 8-4. Western Michigan's ranked. Ohio is not ranked.
And Western Michigan isn't even in the conversation.
Yeah.
To go to the college football playoffs. So I don't care if they blow out and win their it's just not going to happen. So
the ACC championship game, Clemson is playing Virginia Tech. Clemson's number 3, Virginia Tech's 23. Clemson's 11-1, Virginia Tech's 9-3. 9-3, you shouldn't be fucking playing for anything. But yeah, this fucked up.
It's terrible. It is horrid.
This is why I'm almost in favor of have 1 or 2 out of conference games, but for the most part, if you're in a Power 5 conference, make sure you play every team in your conference, and you can, because they can divide it up in the East, West, or leaders, legends, however the fuck they want to, call it whatever they want, and play every team in your conference, and then like they do, play a few teams on a rotating basis in the other conference, and keep your rivalry games. Play your championship games, and then have basically a wild card team that comes in as the 16th. The best 2 teams get first round byes. Wild card team plays the winner of, and then best record after the first round bye plays the wild card team, etc., etc. It's the only way I can come up with to make it even somewhat fair. because Ohio State not playing for the Big Ten championship yet being in the national championship talk, that kind of invalidates the whole Big Ten championship in my mind.
It's making it look like it's a fucking joke.
And it actually validates the fucking referees. Ohio State was going to be in the playoffs no matter what, period. End of talk. That's it. Go home.
Well, I will say this, is as much as, and this is, tinfoil hat territory, as much as that Block M is a brand all of its own, and it's recognized all over the country, Ohio State puts a lot of people's asses in the seats watching the TV. They've been one of college football's elite teams, like it or not, for going on 15, 16 years now. I mean, that's just the way it is. And
they got the team, they got the coach.
If it wasn't for fucking Nick Saban down in Alabama, who would you be talking about as the quote unquote dynasty in college football? You'd have to bring up Ohio State in the conversation at least. But you got Alabama down there. You got a fucking very high profile head coach. Until further notice, the national championship goes through Alabama. Either they win it or you got to beat them to win it. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we got to wrap it up, guys. We're near 3 hours, and battery's going to die here soon. Don't want to have to fly in the end of the show. But thanks everybody who's listened. The show grows every week. At Sporgy Podcast on Twitter, at Sporgy_podcast on Instagram. There's a Facebook page, but it's Facebook. I can't believe we wait all year. It seems football season goes faster and faster every year. We'll be talking playoffs in a few weeks. But thanks to everybody who's listened. iTunes, we're on Google Play, we're on Stitcher, or you can just go to ChristopherMedia.net. And thanks to everybody who's listening. Make sure you share it. If you like someone, you got to tell it. That's how podcasts work. All right? Until further notice. So you want to help us grow? You want to hear more? You got to tell people. And hit the goddamn donate button, would you? All right? I'd like to be able to throw these gentlemen a little cash every week. We're doing this for free. And I, in fact, do this at a loss every month. You're gaining things. You're listening to this for free. So if you like it, hit the donate button. But thanks to everybody who listens, and we'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
And if you like the Iceman, remind Chris to put him in the title.
Yeah, later, I know, right?
If you enjoy this show and want more people to know about it, head on over to iTunes, leave a comment, and rate it 5 stars. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Just search for Christopher Media. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Most importantly, we would like to take the time to extend an extra special thanks to you. Christopher Media could not exist without your support. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh.